Good morning. A very good morning, everyone. So students, today we'll start our second day of bootcamp. So before we begin, let's take a moment and recap what all we have learned today. So I've prepared a very simple quiz here, which will definitely help us in revising what all we did yesterday. So here is the quiz, students. I'll be displaying the quiz questions and you all have to either answer to your teachers, and if you have a device near to you, you can even type your answers in the chat box. So the first question here is, what are the 4 industrial revolutions that we have learned yesterday? Which are the 4 industrial revolutions that we have learned yesterday? And here you can see, I have shown you the similar picture yesterday. And now you need to match computer and automation was a part of which industrial revolution? 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of this 4, computer and automation was a part of which industrial revolution? We need to answer this. Students, you can type in the chat box or you can also type in the live chat session. I can pick up answers from both the ends. Students, yesterday we have started our class and we have learned about tinkering and 4 industrial revolutions. So as a recap, here are a few puzzle questions and you need to see here on the screen. There are 4 different industrial revolutions with their names and they are misplaced and we need to correct them. So computer and automation is given on number 2, but whereas is it a part of number 2 or it belongs to some other industrial revolution, you need to type in. Okay, I am getting answers. Students, yes, you all are right. And the computer and automation moves on to 4th revolution, industrial revolution. You all are answering it to be 4, but 1 or 2 of you have even said it belongs to 3. So please check the answers. You can quickly check and you can redirect it again. Okay, Hushi says it's 3rd industrial revolution, correct. Mavish says it's 4th industrial revolution. Mavish, please recheck. There are a lot of correct answers as well in the chat box, and there is still a little confusion among the students that I can observe. Is it a 3 or it's a 4? So this belongs to 3rd industrial revolution, students. Computer and automation was a part of 3rd industrial revolution. Now moving on to the next part, cyber physical system. Now, cyber physical system was a part of which industrial revolution? Yes, Mavish. Now it's correct. It's 4th industrial revolution. Okay. Moving on to mechanization, water power, steam power. Which industrial revolution was this all a part of? Okay. 1 or 2. Again, there's you can see a lot of answers coming in, and majority of the students says this belongs to 1st industrial revolution. Yes, students, it belongs to 1st industrial revolution. This was a part of 1st industrial revolution. Okay, moving on to the next question. Mass production assembly lines in electricity, what is a part of? Yes, it's a 2nd industrial revolution. So we have yesterday learned 4 industrial revolutions with 4 different names, and we've seen what technologies are a part of this industrial revolution. Students, నిన్న మనం ఏదైతే చదువుకున్నామో 4 ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్స్ గురించి, వాటి పేర్లు ఇక్కడ మిస్సింగ్ మ్యాచ్ లా ఇచ్చాము. అవన్నీ మీరు కరెక్ట్ గా గెస్ చేయాలి. అంటే ఇంతవరకు పిల్లలు చెప్పారు కంప్యూటర్ అండ్ ఆటోమేషన్, కొంతమంది 3 అన్నారు, 4 అన్నారు, కానీ అది 3 కి కరెక్ట్. సైబర్ ఫిజికల్ వరల్డ్ అనేసి ఇంకో రెవల్యూషన్ పార్ట్ ఉంది, అది మనకి 4th రెవల్యూషన్ లో వస్తుంది. మెకనైజేషన్, వాటర్ పవర్, స్టీమ్ పవర్ ఏదైతే ఆన్సర్ ఇక్కడ 4 నంబర్ లో ఉందో ఇది యాక్చువల్ గా 1 నంబర్ కి వెళ్ళాలి. అదే మాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్, అసెంబ్లీ లైన్స్ అండ్ ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ ఇవన్నీ 2nd ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్ కి తగిన టెక్నాలజీస్ అన్నమాట. దాంతో పాటు లెట్స్ మూవ్ అహెడ్. Now let's see Tinkercad interface. Now here is an interface of the Tinkercad students. Yesterday we have learned about Tinkercad and we were assembling few circuits there. We were simulating few circuits there. So as a part of that, now what we'll do is we'll see at different numbers what all this thing we have. So I have given numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you need to answer what portion of the screen it is termed as. Now, 1 is the header, start simulating. What is the start simulating called? Students, the first thing that I did yesterday was, I went there and I changed this. So what is it? Yes, you can answer, students, in the chat box itself. What is second one called? What is number 3? Students, कल हमने इंटरफेस देखा था टिंकरकैड का. टिंकरकैड क्या है, इसे कैसे यूज करना है, कल हमने देखा था. तो इंटरफेस वही मैंने यहाँ पे लगाया है विद नंबर्स 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. इस चीज को क्या नाम हम देते हैं, क्या नाम से हम उसको बुलाते हैं, वो हमें चाहिए. और मैं सीरियल नंबर 1 का आंसर मांग रही थी एंड मेरे पास काफी सारे आंसर्स आ रहे हैं कि नेम था, ये अनटाइटल्ड था या टाइटल बार है. सो यस स्टूडेंट्स, नंबर 1 जो है, जो स्टार्ट सिमुलेटिंग है, वो हमारा नेम का है. वहां पे हम रीनेम करते हैं फाइल को. స్టూడెంట్స్, నిన్న నేర్చుకున్న సర్క్యూట్ డిజైనింగ్ లో మనం ఈ టింకర్ క్యాడ్ అనే సాఫ్ట్వేర్ తో ఉపయోగించి మనం చిన్న చిన్న సర్క్యూట్స్ డిజైన్ చేసాము. నిన్న చేసిన సర్క్యూట్ దానికే నేను డిఫరెంట్ పార్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ ద స్క్రీన్ కి ఏం చెప్తామో నేను నేర్చుకున్నాము. అదే ఇక్కడ మీరు 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ఏవైతే నంబర్స్ ఉన్నాయో వాటి పేర్లు మీరు చెప్పాలి. అయితే ఫస్ట్ 1 స్టార్ట్ సిమ్యులేషన్ అనేసి ఉంది, అది నేను చూస్తే నాకు క్లియర్ గా అర్థమైంది. Everybody were answering answering and they were saying start simulation is the title name of the project. Yes, adi correct, you all are correct when it comes to 1. Now C2, there were different tools that were there, whether it is undo, redo, rotate, delete, annotations with the wire, color and wire. This all is called an access bar. You can even say it's a quick access bar, students. Now, third one, if you all remember, now we had third option, start simulation. Here is a button which once you press, your simulation will start. So that is called a start simulation. That is a button which will ensure that your simulation starts. And mere chesina project ni execute cheyadam, execution stage mein wo chala jata jab aap start simulation type karte. Number 4 is an icon, account icon, students. Yes, I'm getting answers. All your answers are correct, students. I'm just picking up answers from your end and then only I'm putting it on, I'm taking up answers from you all. So 4th one is account, your circuits. मेरे ए भी चेसे ना आप जितने circuits तैयार करें सारे के सारे आपके account sections में से आप access कर सकते हैं. Now coming on to 5 students. 5 yesterday, I have shown you one tutorials page where you find tutorials for learning Tinkercad. So section 5 here, what you see is a Tinkercad tutorial where you can learn different circuit designing steps. You will learn different steps ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఆ స్టెప్స్ చూసుకొని మనము సర్క్యూట్ డిజైన్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అది మనకి 5 నంబర్ 5 లో ఉంటుంది. అలాగే నంబర్ 6 మనకి వర్క్ ఏరియా, వర్క్ స్పేస్ కూడా అంటారు. ఇక్కడ మనము వర్క్ చేస్తాం యాక్చువల్ గా. 6 नंबर पे स्टूडेंट्स वर्क एरिया है, जहां पे एक्चुअली हमारी सर्क्यूट डिजाइन होती है, उसको हम वर्क स्पेस या वर्क एरिया कहते हैं। नंबर 7 जो है ये हमारा कंपोनेंट्स पैनल है, हम इसे पैनल ऑफ कंपोनेंट्स बोलते हैं, जहां पे हमारे पूरे कंपोनेंट्स रेडीली अवेलेबल होते हैं. yesterday మనం ఇక్కడ నుంచి అయితే ఎల్ఈడి తీసుకున్నాము, రెసిస్టర్ తీసుకున్నాము, అన్ని మనం తీసుకుంది ఈ ప్యానెల్ లో నుంచి. అందుకే ఈ ప్యానెల్ కి మనము కాంపోనెంట్ ప్యానెల్ అనేసి పేరు ఇస్తాము. So this was all about the interface that we have learned yesterday, students. Going forward, let's see few more questions. Now yesterday one of my other colleague and Mr. Neeraj has explained you the different circuits and matter. Now let's see what is an open circuit and what is a closed circuit. Students, if you know what is an open circuit and what is a closed circuit, you can answer again. Now I'll show the definition once again to reveal its definition. I'll click here. Open circuit, it's an incomplete path that will not permit an electric current to flow. Exactly. Now if you see here, students, in the picture, me picture lo chusarante A ki B ki madhyalo wire break ayundi. There's a break between wire A and B, so there's no continuous connection. So current will not glow and your bulb, current will not pass and your bulb will not glow. This type of circuit is called as an open circuit. Open circuit is something wherein you will have incomplete path. If there is an incomplete path, the current will not pass. That is an open circuit. Now let's go back and see closed circuit definition. Closed circuit is as simple it is, students. Closed circuit is something wherein the path is connected so that your current will pass and your bulb will glow here. So circuits are majorly, two open and closed circuits we have. There are different types as well, such as short circuit we have, but we are going to learn only two, closed and open circuit. Open, the name itself says open, the path is open and the current will not be passing. Closed means the path is complete and the current will easily pass. So రెండు రకాల సర్క్యూట్ స్టూడెంట్స్, ఒకటి క్లోజ్ సర్క్యూట్, ఒకటి ఓపెన్ సర్క్యూట్. పేరుతోనే ఓపెన్ అంటే మీకు అర్థమైపోతుంది, ఓపెన్ గా ఉంటుంది, పాత్ కంప్లీట్ కాదు. క్లోజ్డ్ అన్నప్పుడు సర్క్యూట్ క్లోజ్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, ఒక చిన్న క్విజ్ చూద్దాం స్టూడెంట్స్ ఇక్కడ. Now you all need to answer. If you are in your classroom, you can answer it to your teachers. They'll be able to guide you if it is going wrong. And if you answer it in the chat box, definitely I'll be there to answer, students. So the first question, what type of circuit is shown in each of the following examples? So there are set of examples. किंदा मने की set of examples इच्चारू. ये सारे examples में आपको guess करना है कि open circuit है या ये closed circuit है. अभी आप देखो ये सर्किट में बल्ब ग्लो हो रहा है और कनेक्शन कंप्लीट है, तो व्हाट डू वी कॉल? करेक्ट खुशी, यस. आयुष, करेक्ट, इट्स अ क्लोज सर्किट. यस स्टूडेंट्स, इट्स a closed circuit. Let's see few more examples. Now here is another circuit wherein you can see the connection is complete and your bulb is also glowing. So what type of circuit that comes under? Again, it's going to be a closed circuit, as a lot of answers are coming in. It's a closed circuit, students. Now moving on, here again there is a connection. You can see the indication is the circuit is closed or it's open and the bulb is glowing or not. You need to check that and you need to answer. So in this case also your bulb is glowing. Now here you need to guess, students, is it an open circuit or it's a closed circuit? Correct, Sarada Devi, it's open circuit. Ayush, correct. So students, it's going to be an open circuit, as here if the path is incomplete, so current is not able to pass and your bulb is not glowing. So this will come under your open circuit. Okay, now as we have learned circuits are open and closed circuits, let's see what are the types of paths they have. The connection that we were telling, no, the path is complete, the path is incomplete. So looking at it, whether the path is complete or incomplete, how are they connected? There are different paths in which we connect. So for example, if I give you from your school, if you're walking to your house or if you're walking to any place, there are different routes to it, right? You can go one directly, or you can stop at one point and you can take a different route. So there will be multiple routes through which you will reach your house. Similarly, for current to flow and the circuit to get completed, there might be multiple different paths. They can go directly, or they can move in different directions and then come to a place. So there will be different ways in which we can connect the circuits. So the one is series, the other one is parallel. So let's see series definition and parallel definition. Yes, series and parallel definition I can see in the chat box as well. So parallel circuits are the ones which have more than one path. So all the circuits will have more than one path through which current can flow. Series circuits will have only one path. Series means all are connected with one another in a single straight line. You can assume that. So one end, one connected, then the other end is connected to second one, the third one, all are connected in series. So they will have only one path for the current to flow. Parallel is something wherein you have multiple paths to flow. Now let's see a few questions here also, students. Now students, is it now you need to guess again what type of circuit you can see in the pictures now. The first picture is here. Is it a single series circuit or it's a parallel circuit? Yes, the answers are correct. So I know a lot of answers are coming in and they're saying it's a series circuit.
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
Now, that was very easy, students. So you all guess. Now let's see who will be right here, who all will be giving me the answers. So you might have seen a flash, flashlight. You all will be using it, or you might have used some other time. So you put in some, you put in some cells into this. So are these cells connected in series connection or in parallel connection? Yes, again, a lot of students are giving me correct answers. Yes, it's going to be again in series. Yes, Sadia, it's correct, series. Now students, which one do you think it is? Is it a series or it's going to be a parallel circuit here? Yes, I can see even on the other platform, students are answering yes, Chan Pasha, it's going to be a series circuit. Yes, it's series again. So let's see a few more examples, students. Now, you might have seen if home lighting is connected. Now, is it connected in series or parallel? Now, a lot of lamps, or you may have different lamps connected. So how are these lamps connected? Are they series or parallel? Okay. There are mixed of answers that I'm getting. Few students are saying series, few are saying parallel. Students, let's see which answer is correct here now.
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
So this was the correct answer, students. So Ayush and the other students, Kushi, all the students are correct. It's a parallel circuit, and students who said series, it's going to be parallel. See, if 5 things are connected together, if these are connected, so if one doesn't work, the rest of the connections will work, students. Now, giving you an example, మీ ఇంట్లో ఒక్క బల్బ్ పాడైంది అంటే వేరే బల్బ్స్ అయితే పనిచేస్తాయి కదా, అది ప్యారలల్ కనెక్షన్. ఒకటి పాడైంది, మిగతా ఏమీ రావట్లేవు అంటే అప్పుడు మీకు అది సిరీస్ అనుకోండి. ఎందుకంటే సిరీస్ లో ఒకటి పాడైపోయింది, ఒక బల్బ్ పాడైంది, ఒక లైట్ పాడైంది అంటే ఇంకా మిగతావన్నీ ఇంకా పాడైపోయినట్టు. ఎందుకంటే ఒకటే దారి ఉంటుంది కరెంట్ పోవడానికి, ఆ దారిలో ఒక్కటి పాడైపోయింది అంటే ఇంకా ముందుకు వెళ్ళే ఛాన్స్ ఏమి ఉండదు ఇంకా కరెంట్ కి. అలా అనేసి అవన్నీ సిరీస్ లో అయిపోతాయి. అదే మీరు ప్యారలల్ అన్నారు అనుకోండి, ఒక దారి పాడైపోయింది అంటే కరెంట్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, నెక్స్ట్ దారి రెండో దారి పట్టుకొని అది మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. మన ఏవైతే బల్బ్స్ ఉన్నాయో లేదా మన కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవి మనకి కరెంట్ని ఇవ్వడానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. So let's see another example, students. Now you might have seen holiday lights, or you can even say the decoration lights that we use in a lot of functions, a lot of at different places. మీరు చూసారేమో చిల్డ్రన్ ఇలాంటి లైట్స్ ఉంటాయి మనం ఇంటి పైన లేదా మీరు ఇంట్లో పెట్టుకుంటారు, ఫంక్షన్స్ లో బయట డెకరేషన్స్ కి యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఈ లైట్స్ మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా చూసారంటే ఇంటికి మనం ముందు పెట్టుకుంటాము. ఇది సిరీస్ ప్యారలల్? Correct. Yes. Students, now there is both the answers are correct, series and parallel here, students. See, earlier they used to come in series, now they are coming in parallel connection. ante थोड़े टाइम पहले मे बी एक 5-6 साल पहले अगर आप देखो या एक 10 साल पहले आप देखो, ये सारे सीरीज में आते थे. एक खराब हुआ तो पूरा का पूरा लाइट का वो स्ट्रिप जो होता है ना, वो पूरा एक लंबा स्ट्रिप रहता है, तो एक खराब हुआ तो पूरी स्ट्रिप खराब हो जाती थी. बट अभी क्या हो रहा है, वो स्ट्रिप एक खराब होते ही पूरा खराब हो रहा, तो वो बहुत ज्यादा वेस्ट हो रहा था हमारा पैसे, हमारा कंपोनेंट्स वगैरह, हमारी स्ट्रिप खराब हो रही थी. नाउ दिस हॉलिडे लाइट्स आर कमिंग इन बोथ द वेज, इट्स इन सीरीज as well as it's in parallel connections. So now they are giving it in both the connections, students. So it depends कि हम कौन सा खरीद रहे हैं. So here both the answers will be right. So moving on, now it's a car headlight, students. Is it a series or a parallel connection? Okay, I can see different answers like series, yes, parallel. Okay, again here is a contradictory answers I'm getting. Few are saying series, few are saying parallel.
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
So students, it's going to be a parallel. When it comes to car flash, car headlight, that you can see మీరు చూసారేమోండి, ఒక్క సైడ్ కార్ లైట్ రాకపోయినా కానీ రెండో సైడ్ నుంచి వస్తుంది. So students, it's a parallel. You might have seen, बच्चे आप देखे होंगे कि अगर एक वाला खराब हो गया हेडलाइट तो सेकंड वाला तो काम करता ही है, तो वो पैरेलल कनेक्शन में है, वो सीरीज में नहीं है. Okay, now security alarm. You might have seen different the apartments or different residents have, even your school system may have security cameras. Now are these cameras connected in series or parallel? సెక్యూరిటీ సిస్టమ్ మీ స్కూల్లో కూడా సీసీటీవీ కెమెరా ఉంది అంటే ఆ సెక్యూరిటీ కెమెరాస్ లో కనెక్షన్ సిరీస్ లో ఉంటుందా, ప్యారలల్ లో ఉంటుందా? It is definitely parallel, because even if 6th class camera is not working, but definitely 7th class camera will work. If 7th is not working, corridor का camera तो work करता ही है, तो एक ना करे but दूसरा definitely करता है, तो ये parallel connection होता है students. So students, with this we'll definitely pause here. We had definitely, I hope you all also enjoyed our recap of the session. So now one question to you all students, as we close our completely the recap of the day today, and we'll start our session for the day now. So before I start, I'm going to ask you all another one question. Now if I give you all a hot cup of milk, I'm giving it to the students. I'll ask them the boiling hot milk they have, and I'm asking them to put in their fingers. How many of you will do and how many of you will definitely reject? ఒక వేడి వేడి పాలది కప్ మీకు ఇచ్చి మీ ఫింగర్స్ దాంట్లో పెట్టండి అంటే ఎంతమంది పెడతారు, ఎంతమంది పెట్టరు? How many of you will, it's just a simple question, students. See, I'm giving you a hot cup of milk and I'm asking you to put your fingers into it. A very hot cup of milk, and okay, there are students, ma'am, I'll reject. Yes. Okay. There are students, a lot of students who are saying they'll not put in their fingers, they'll reject it. Now the question is, why will you reject, students? I'm giving you, see, I'm proposing you, as we all discussed a lot of recap questions. Continuing to it, I proposed, I am giving you a cup of hot milk and I'm asking you to put in your fingers. How many of you will agree and how many of you will reject? So a lot of answers are coming in. They say, I'll reject it. Now the question is, why will you reject? Or if you say, I'll put my fingers, why will you put your fingers? The question is very simple, students. If you are saying yes or if you are saying no, for both you give me the reasons. Okay. Hmm. I don't want to burn my hand, ma'am. Yes, you don't want to burn your hand, so you'll not put it. Very good answer, students, because your fingers will burn. Correct answer. No, you don't want to put. I am correct. That is also correct. I can take up those answers also, students. See, now think in this way. When I posed your question, will you put your fingers in a boiling cup of water? You said no immediately. Why? When I said you heard the question, your mind processed it, and then you are giving me an answer. So it's all going in two steps. One, hearing the question, processing it, and then you are answering it. So everything happens in three steps. Now, when you all know, once you put your fingers will definitely burn, and that information will go to your brain, and your brain will definitely react that remove your fingers. If you're not putting, that is also, that when you heard the question, you understood your fingers will burn, and then you will not put it. So it's all in multiple states, students. One, input is my question. Processing is you thinking in your mind, should I put or should I not put? And your brain responding you should not put, is the processing stage. And you answering me, I'm not going to put my fingers because the milk is hot, is an output. Now, among these three, input, processing, output, there is another term called sensing as well, which your hand will do. Once, if you know that once you put in your finger, there are questions like, ma'am, because you are saying I'll put my finger. So no, 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 you shouldn't put that. I was just telling you there is an option of sensing as well in it, wherein you see, once you put in, your finger will sense something hot is there, and that will send an information to your brain, and your brain will respond immediately, remove, otherwise you'll burn your hand more. So here is the topic of sensing comes in. Now when I was putting the questions, you were hearing to it, you were processing, you were checking whether it is input, output, or processing, whether it is series, parallel. All your answers, everything was happening in multiple states. Now, continuing the sensing topic, and how our mind is connected, how is this input, sensing, processing, output, all this is happening simultaneously. Let's look into it today deeply. And today's our session is completely going to be on sensors and microcontrollers. So we'll see how microcontroller works, what are integrated circuits, what are different sensors that we have, how many sense organs do we have. All this is going to be a part of our today's session. Students, just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen again. So students, today we'll be learning about integrated circuits and sensors, what are integrated circuits, and the complete history of sensors, from where does the sensors come, and I'll introduce you all different types of sensors we have, how are they working, what are their characteristics, and how did the sensors continue to evolve. All this, this is the agenda. Everything here mentioned here will be discussing in our today's session. Apart from this, we also have a second session which will focus more on Internet of Things, microcontrollers, how are these controllers helping us in sensing the environment, how the sensors and microcontrollers are interfaced. All this will be learning today. స్టూడెంట్స్, మీకు అర్థం కావడానికి ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నాను. ఈ రోజు క్లాస్లో ఎలా అయితే మీరు పాలలో, వేడి పాలలో ఫింగర్స్ పెట్టండి అంటే మేము పెట్టము అని చెప్పారు, దానికే నేను ఏం చెప్తున్నాను, మనకి సెన్స్ ఆర్గన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, మనం సెన్స్ చేస్తాము, మన బాడీ ఇన్పుట్ తీసుకుంటుంది, అది వేడిగా ఉంటుందా లేదా అనేసి. ఆ సెన్సింగ్ మళ్ళీ మనకి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ బ్రెయిన్ కి వెళ్తుంది. బ్రెయిన్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ని ప్రాసెస్ చేసి మళ్ళీ మనకి చెప్తుంది తీసేయండి ఫింగర్, లేదంటే మీ ఫింగర్ బర్న్ అయిపోతుంది అనేసి. సో అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. ఇన్పుట్ ఉంది, ప్రాసెసింగ్ ఉంది, అవుట్పుట్ ఉంది, సెన్సింగ్ ఉంది. ఇవన్నీ మన దగ్గర మనం చేసే ప్రతి ఒక్క పనిలో ఇవన్నీ ఇన్వాల్వ్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇవన్నిటికీ మనం ఎలా అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి, ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ సెన్సర్స్ ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి, మనం హ్యూమన్స్ తయారు చేసిన సెన్సర్స్ ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి, అవన్నిటి గురించి మనం ఈరోజు నేర్చుకోబోతున్నాము. సో స్టూడెంట్స్, how many sense organs do we have? We as humans, how many sense organs do we have? You can again use your chat box and all. Yes. Students, please write your complete answer. You just write what are the different sense organs that you have. As a human, that every one of us have sense organs, right? So what are they? Yes, a lot of answers are coming in. I can see definitely answers like we have eyes, nose, ears, skin, tongue. All these answers I'm able to see, students. Now, as you know, these are the sense organs that are God gifted ones, and we all have these sense organs. So, I am hoping that majority of the students here will definitely agree to me. This all are God gifted ones, and we have them. That is, there's no question or there's no point of it. But we as humans have also created few sensors which can help us in understanding different parameters. We can measure and we can understand different parameters with the help of these sensors. So sensors are something, students, we have our own sense organs. As a human body, we know once we see some color, we see the color, we identify, we sense the color, and within we say this is some color we have. So our brain has already preloaded with information when we were in our schooling, or when we were very in our primary schooling. Teachers have taught us which color it is, what is it's called. So all this is preloaded now. It is preloaded in our mind. Now whenever you come up across such colors or such components, such objects, you immediately recognize that this is something called this. This is a pen, this is a blue pen, this is a red pen. All these things comes to your mind. Similarly, there are few sensors which are man-made, and this will help us to measure different parameters. And on my screen, you can see different sensor types are there. Humidity sensor, flex sensor, touch sensor. So a lot of different sensors are there. On my screen that you're seeing, I can say it is only a portion of sensors that I'm showing. There are a lot of other sensors which are working, artificial ones. Now, the sensors are the devices, or they are the modules which can detect some change, some event, which can detect some change in the environment, and they send us the information to other electronics devices, maybe a computer, maybe a mobile phone, anything like that. So these sensors, what they do, what do they do? They are devices which will sense whenever there's a change of information or change in the environment. They immediately send that information to the processing unit. So maybe it can be a computer, it can be a mobile phone, and then whatever action has to happen, that will definitely takes place. Okay, so All these sensors are connected to some or the other electronics device, students. Now, question to you all is, have you ever used different sensors which are there in your mobile phone? So in your mobile phone, there are different sensors. So have you used any of these sensors? And if you have used, please name a sensor that you have used. In your mobile phone, there are different sensors. Which sensor have you used in your mobile phone? Yes, motion sensor. I can say accelerometer. Yes. Yes, fingerprint sensor. So touch sensor, motion sensor. Students, a lot of sensors are there in your mobile phone. You can, once you sit and try exploring, there are different sensors which are integrated in your mobile phone. You can have a lot of sensors. You can learn about the different sensors from starting from your mobile phone itself. And I'm sure most of us have access to mobile phones. So smartphones I'm talking about. So every smartphone will definitely have some or the other sensors. So you can definitely explore all these sensors, which will give you more information, and you can learn by yourself exploring what type of sensor it is, how is it working. Yes, students, before we go in detail about all the sensors and see how is it working, or take an example of any other sensor, I'm waiting here. I'm pausing the session for a minute, students, to take up the questions. Yes, temperature sensor is there in the chat box. Answers are there in the chat box. Temperature sensor is there. Yes. Then students have also asked me to, name and explain the sensors. Yes, we'll learn all the sensors in maybe another 5-10 minutes. We'll start this session, and will we learn IoT in future classes. Today we have an IoT session that will begin mostly from 10:30 or 10:45. We'll start our session with IoT. Okay, so students, here resuming our discussion. So there are a lot of sensors that we've seen in our surroundings. One of them is automatic system, operations, or the automatic door opening system that you've seen. సో ఐఎమ్ షూర్ మనం ఎప్పుడైతే మాల్స్ కి లేదా ఎక్కడైనా స్టోర్స్ కి, ఈవెన్ ఇప్పుడైతే బిగ్ బజార్ లో కూడా మీరు వెళ్ళారు అంటే, మనం డోర్ ముందుకు వెళ్ళగానే ఆ డోర్ ఓపెన్ అయిపోతుంది. ఎలా ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది, అక్కడ ఏ టెక్నాలజీ యూజ్ చేశారు అంటే, అది కూడా మళ్ళీ ఇప్పుడు మనకి సెన్సర్ టాపికే వస్తుంది స్టూडेंट्स. जब भी आप कोई मॉल जाते हो, या कोई कंपनी, या कोई एमएनसी जाते हो, या कोई शोरूम वगैरह जाते हो, आप खरीद जाते ही डोर खुद से ओपन हो जाता है. तो यहाँ पे भी सेंसर्स का ही सिस्टम है. ये एक जो ऑटोमेटिक डोर ओपनिंग सिस्टम है, वहां पर भी सेंसर्स लगे हुए हैं जो आपको आपका प्रेजेंस को डिटेक्ट करेंगे और वो इमीडिएटली डोर ओपन करेंगे स्टूडेंट्स. सो यहाँ पे हम वेट करेंगे और हम यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा वीडियो देखेंगे, ये कैसे वर्क करता है सिस्टम. ये ऑटोमेटिक डोर ओपनिंग सिस्टम का एक छोटा सा डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन देखेंगे. उसके बाद हम फिर से इसको विल डिस्कस मोर अबाउट द सेंसर्स. Students, here is a simple video of the door automatic system. So how this automatic door opening system is working, we'll just watch a simple video here before we proceed further with the concept of sensors. So, students, I hope you got clarity on how did a simple system of automatic door opening system was prepared, and you might have also noticed what type of sensors he is used, and what are the different modules he is used. Some from motors to the switch, the sensors, the wires, everything. You got a clarity. I hope you got that clarity from the video. Similarly, all these automatic door opening systems, as the video showed, a smaller version, a mini prototype version. If you go in a real time, you will have different sensors, like they'll use optical sensor, they'll use motion detection sensors. Also, did you notice, students, that he has a 6 to 7 meters of range, which means anyone who is coming between 6 to 7 meters of range can they can easily detect that. So it can be different ranges can be given, different systems will have different range. As the person comes closer to it, or if he is coming towards it, the system will start triggering, and it will detect. And then there will be a controlling unit which will understand that yes, there is something is coming. So it's also happening in four multiple same phases, students. Once a person is coming, that is being detected by a sensor will give information to the controlling central unit will immediately trigger the motors to open the door. Now once the person enters, again the four steps will repeat. Now once the door is open, it will stay there for 15-20 seconds, or maybe some more time. That time will be customized. And once the person leaves, again it will close. Same steps repeating again. So every system that you see, students, every system, whether it is door opening system or any other sensor systems that you see, there will definitely come 4 points. One, the input, which is a human interaction or human intervention. Then a sensing unit will be there, which will sense the information, and then it will pass on the information to the controlling unit. From controlling unit, output will happen. Now if it can be a door opening, door closing, or even your hand wash system that you see, all this can happen in 4 different stages. Moving ahead, let us see other example of a system, a fingerprint system or a fingerprint sensor in your smartphones. Now let us watch another video, students. We'll see how this system is working, or how does this, a little more details about
Techno Mum.
Scanner, no, it's his. Scanner, no, and unlock the scanner to. Dad's mobile phone has a fingerprint scanner to lock and unlock the screen. How does the scanner know it's his?
Ooh, great question. You see fingerprint scanners on lots of devices these days, including mobile phones. Secret codes are a great way to keep things private and safe, as you'll know if you've got a combination lock on your diary or bike. Human beings are lucky because every single person alive has their own totally unique secret code on their fingers and thumbs. On each finger pad, you can see a pattern of swirls and ridges. Yours won't match anyone else's. The first time you set the lock, you let the scanner take a picture of your fingertip. Every time you then swipe your fingertip on the reader, it takes another photo and checks the first to see if they match. If they do, you're in. Sometimes electrical currents are used instead of light. Don't worry, they don't give you a shock. You might know that electricity is carried around gadgets and machines in channels called circuits. They're like roads. If there's a gap in the circuit, the electricity can't flow, just like cars can't cross a broken bridge. Some scanners use circuits which are completed or filled by the bumps of the fingerprint. The pressure activates switches which help the device put together an image of all the ridges and can compare them to its original.
Techno Mum's Tech Line, with support from the Institution of Engineering.
Okay, so students, I hope you understood. I'll explain it once again. Students, you might be aware that even human body has some electric current. So a small amount of current will be there even in our body, which will be flowing. So because of which there are few fingerprint sensors which works on this circuit, open and close circuit that we saw. So what it will do, a portion of our finger, it will scan and it will store in the system, whether it is a mobile phone, laptop, or any smart device, wherever fingerprint sensor is working, or even if it's a door system, what that will do, it will immediately, even if you've seen biometric attendance, all the systems, what they'll do, first they'll scan your thumb, they'll store the information. If it's a finger, it will store the information. The same, if you see, every human being has different lines on their palms. So all the fingers will have different impressions. This impression will be saved once in the system, and every time you connect, it will check whether the first one and this one is the same or not. ఎప్పుడైతే మనం స్కాన్ చేస్తామో, ఫస్ట్ టైం స్కాన్ చేసినప్పుడు మన ఫింగర్స్ కున్న ఇంప్రెషన్స్ అన్నిటినీ సేవ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. అది సిస్టమ్ సేవ్ చేసుకున్న తర్వాత ప్రతిసారి నువ్వు వెళ్ళి నువ్వు పెట్టగానే నీ ఫింగర్ అది చెక్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. ఫస్ట్ లో ఏదైతే సేవ్ చేసుకుందో అది ఇప్పుడు పెట్టింది సేమా కాదా అనేసి. అది సేమ్ అనుకోండి, ఓపెన్ అయిపోతుంది మీ ఫోన్. అది కాదు, ఏ డివైస్ అయినా ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది. అది కాదు అంటే అది ఏమవుతుంది, అప్పటిదప్పుడే అది క్లోజ్డ్ అయిపోతుంది. మనకి ఫోన్ ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి, డివైస్ ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి రాదు. Now, there are few sensors which work on correct circuitry, which means half of our finger impression it will store, and once you keep it, the rest half, once it becomes a closed circuit, then only it will open, otherwise it will not open. And students, recently, again, I'm trying to just give you another example here. See, if a person expires, if a person dies, his fingerprint cannot be used to unlock any device. Now the answer I gave you here itself, students. Now, because see, when we are alive, now we have small amount of current being produced, and that is flowing. So that electric current, the circuitry will close and our devices are working. When a person dies, the current, the circuitry, the movement of our, all the electrons will be completely on a halt and nothing will happen. That current, the electric current that is there, that will not come out, and your phone or your devices will not work. Even if a person expires, and maybe for I am assuming maybe for a few seconds or few minutes your devices can be activated, but after that none of your devices can be opened. If a person has an authority who can control, but they expired, unfortunately, then your devices cannot be opened with a person's fingerprint once he expires. So this is again the other side of the fingerprint sensor that you all can రిమెంబర్. సో ఎవరైతే చచ్చిపోతారో, చనిపోయిన వాళ్ళ ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ పనికి రాదు. అంటే ఒక్కసారి వాళ్ళు చనిపోయిన తర్వాత మా ఫోన్ లో వాళ్ళ ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ ఉంది, వస్తుందా చూద్దాం అంటే అది రాదు. మన బాడీలో ఏదైతే చిన్న స్మాల్ కరెంట్, ఎలక్ట్రిక్ కరెంట్ పాస్ అవుతుందో, అది మన మనుషులు చచ్చిపోయిన తర్వాత ఆ మూవ్మెంట్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ కి రాదు. Once that movement is not happening, once that current is not producing, your fingerprint sensor will not work, students. So this is again, a fingerprint sensor that we have in our smartphones, and you can have a lot of other sensors in your smartphone, students. Assignment for today is to explore what are the different types of sensors you have in your mobile phone. So tomorrow, during the recap session, we'll discuss about the different sensors that you have identified in your mobile phone. Students, for this, you don't have to go anywhere. You just take a smartphone, check what are the different sensors that you have in your mobile phone. It is easily accessible. The information will be accessible, and there is a face recognition system, there's a fingerprint system, motion sensor, a lot of sensors are there in your smartphone. Try listing down, and we'll discuss how do they work in tomorrow's class. So students, all these are the artificial sensors that we have. Now, if you can see, there are multiple types of sensors. You have color sensor, you have gas sensor, light sensor, proximity, ultrasonic, IR, PIR, rain sensor, heartbeat sensor, IR sensor, touch, humidity, photo, gyroscope, soil moisture sensor. ఇవన్నీ రకరకాల టైప్ల సెన్సర్లు అన్నమాట. आपको जो आपको मेरे स्क्रीन पे नाम दिखाई दे रहा है, ये सारे के सारे सेंसर्स के नाम हैं. इसमें से आपको कुछ सेंसर्स के नेम itself will define their working. Students, I can say the purpose of the sensor, what it is used for. Sometimes the name itself will give you. नाम से खुद हमें पता चल जाता है. कलर सेंसर क्या करता है? कलर को डिटेक्ट करता है. टेम्परेचर सेंसर क्या करता है? टेम्परेचर मेजर करता है. सो रेन सेंसर पानी को डिटेक्ट करता है. तो काफी सारे सेंसर्स का नाम सुनकर ही हम समझ सकते हैं कि किस तरीके का सेंसर ये हो सकता है, ये क्या काम कर सकता है. గ్యాస్ సెన్సర్ అంటే ఏంటిది? గ్యాస్ ని మెజర్ చేస్తుంది, అది డిటెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. లైట్ అన్నప్పుడు లైట్ ని డిటెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. స్మోక్ సెన్సర్ అంటే స్మోక్ ని డిటెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. పేర్లతోనే మనకి చాలా సెన్సర్ల ఉపయోగాలు మనకి తెలిసిపోతాయి. కానీ దాని వర్కింగ్, అది ఎలా వర్క్ చేస్తుంది, దాని వెనక లాజిక్ ఏంటిది, అది కనుక్కోవాలి అంటే మనం కొంచెం దానికి ఎక్స్ప్లోర్ చేసి ఇంకా నేర్చుకోవాలి. సో గోయింగ్ అహెడ్ స్టూడెంట్స్, first we have temperature sensor. Now the question is, what does this temperature sensor do? The name itself will tell you, it will measure the temperature. Ante ఇది వన్ ఆఫ్ ద మోస్ట్ పాపులర్ సెన్సర్ అన్నమాట, టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్. ఇది టెంపరేచర్ ని మెజర్ చేస్తుంది, చేంజెస్ ఇన్ ద టెంపరేచర్. అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మీరు సమ్మర్ లో ఉన్నారు అంటే మీరు టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ యూజ్ చేసుకొని మీ టెంపరేచర్ మెజర్ చేయొచ్చు. బయట ఎంత ఉంటుంది, రూమ్ లో ఎంత ఉంటుంది, మీ కిచెన్ రూమ్ లో ఎంత ఉంటుంది, ఆ టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సింగ్ మీరు చేసుకోవచ్చు ఈ చిన్న టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ తో. ఈ టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ రకరకాల విధాలుగా ఉంటాయి. మళ్ళీ దర్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ అగైన్ ways of using this sensor, or different types I can say. One is in IC format, one is completely full-fledged a module of a sensor, the other one is a simple thermistor that you can see on my screen, or an IC based sensor and thermistor are both shown in the pictures. Now screen lo do tarike ke pictures dikh rahe hain students, ek IC based hai, ek thermistor based hai. Similarly आपके पास और सेंसर आया होगा टेम्परेचर सेंसर, जो कि पूरा एक मॉड्यूल टाइप है. एक मॉड्यूल बन के ये सारे, ये थर्मिस्टर, ये टेम्परेचर आईसी उसके अंदर चला जाता है और वो एक मॉड्यूल बन के बाहर आता है. तो उसका पूरा बॉडी कवर्ड होता है. सिर्फ आपको पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव देखने को मिलेंगे और एक ग्राउंड रहेगा, शायद पॉजिटिव एक एनालॉग इनपुट या आउटपुट रहेगा, फिर एक ग्राउंड रहेगा. उसके साथ साथ आपको ये दो जो मॉड्यूल्स यहाँ पे आईसी और थर्मिस्टर दिख रहे हैं, ये मॉड्यूल के अंदर रहेंगे. అంటే చెప్పేది ఏంటంటే, ఇక్కడ మీరు ఏదైతే చూస్తున్నారో ఐసీ అనేసి థర్మిస్టర్ అనేసి ఈ రెండు టెంపరేచర్ మెజర్ చేయడానికి ఉపయోగిస్తారు. కానీ మీ దగ్గర వేరే సెన్సర్ ఉంది, మీ ఏటీఎల్ ల్యాబ్ లో వేరే సెన్సర్ ఉంది, మీరు చూసారు అంటే అది ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది? మీ సెన్సర్ లోపల ఇవి యూజ్ చేసుకో అంటే ఈ రెండిటికి సెన్సర్ లోపల పెట్టేస్తారనమాట. అక్కడి నుంచి ఇది టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ పనిచేస్తుంది. సో ఐ హోప్ టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ ఇస్ క్లియర్ స్టూడెంట్స్. గోయింగ్ అహెడ్, we have light sensor. Now this light sensor at times is also called as a photo sensor. Now photo sensor or light sensor, again with the name itself you can identify it depends on light, and its functioning is something related to light. You can at least understand that. Now this sensor is also called as light dependent resistor, or LDR. LDR you might have seen in the different projects like automatic street light project. If you see that automatic street light project has LDR sensor. Even in reality, in real life, if you go to the streets at night time, you can see there are few LDR based lighting system. That means the LDR system ela panchestundi ante, this LDR will have some resistance property that is ఇన్వర్స్లీ ప్రపోర్షనల్. అంటే రెసిస్టెన్స్ ఎప్పుడు తగ్గుతుంది? మనకి లైట్ ఎక్కువ ఉందంటే రెసిస్టెన్స్ తగ్గుతుంది. లైట్ తక్కువ ఉందంటే డే టైంలో మనకి లైట్ చాలా ఉంటుంది, it's very bright during daytime. So what will happen? This brightness will reduce the resistance and all the lights will be off. During night time what will happen? Darkness will be more, so that darkness will that will be more, so resistance will be high, and your definitely resistor this LDR will turn on all the lights. So you need to understand it this way, students. This LDR is depending on light. లైట్ ఎక్కువ ఉందా తక్కువ ఉందా ఇది మెజర్ చేసుకుంటుంది, దానిపైన ఇది వర్క్ చేస్తుంది. లైట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంది అంటే ఇది రెసిస్టెన్స్ ని తగ్గించేస్తుంది, అది లైట్ అసలే లేదు అంటే ఇది ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసేస్తుంది అనమాట. అలా వర్క్ చేస్తుంది. ఇన్వర్స్లీ ప్రపోర్షనల్ అంటే ఒకటి తగ్గింది అంటే ఒకటి ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. स्टूडेंट्स LDR का लाइट डिपेंडेंट रेसिस्टर हम इसको बोलते हैं. ये फोटो सेंसर भी नाम से जाना जाता है और इसको हम लाइट सेंसर भी बोलते हैं. ये हमारे रेसिस्टेंस से वर्क करता है. कल हम जो रेसिस्टर पढ़े थे, रेसिस्टर पढ़े थे, उसी के बेसिस पे ये है. इसकी वैल्यू जो हमने कल देखा था कि रेसिस्टर पे कलर्स थे, डिफरेंट कलर्स के थ्रू हम रेसिस्टर की वैल्यू पता कर रहे थे. यहाँ पे रेसिस्टर कलर्स के बेसिस पे नहीं, लाइट के बेसिस पे इसकी वैल्यू इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज होती है. Students, reconnecting it to yesterday's session where we have studied about resistors, those resistors, the value of resistors, those resistors was depending on the color bands. There were different color bands and each band indicated some color and we were able to find out the value of resistor. But this light dependent resistor LDR, its value will depend on the light. So intensity of light, whether the intensity is more or less, depending on that, the value of resistor will change. And that is inversely proportional, which means if light is more, resistance will be less. If light is less, resistance will be more. So it's working inversely. I hope you understood light dependent resistor, students. So it is basically all about your night street light system that you can see. Automatic street light system. You might have heard about the project also, automatic street light. How does it work? That depends on the intensity of light. Yes, I can see a few responses in the chat box, students. So once we are done with all this, all the types of sensors, I'll take up the questions. For now, I'm moving ahead with the next type of sensor. Okay, the next type of sensor that we have is a smoke sensor or a gas sensor. Now, you might have heard about the gas leakage system, the LPG gas leakage system, or the smoke detection system, wherein if you talk about the residential purpose, you might have seen gas leakage system. And students have developed some modules, students have developed some projects, prototypes wherein they were detecting the LPG leakage and they were giving some output maybe through a light or an audio, or sometimes they were also sending some messages to the residents. All this was a part of the smoke detection or the gas detection system. గ్యాస్ డిటెక్షన్, స్మోక్ డిటెక్షన్ అనే ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ మీరు చూసారేమో స్టూడెంట్స్ మీ ATL ల్యాబ్స్ లో. అది ఎలా తయారవుతుంది అంటే ఈ గ్యాస్ సెన్సర్ అనే దానికి యూజ్ చేసి ఈ అప్లికేషన్, దీనికి మీరు ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఎక్కడైనా చూసారేమో. ఇప్పుడు కంపెనీస్ లో అయినా కానీ మీకు స్మోక్ సిస్టమ్, గ్యాస్ సిస్టమ్ ఉంటుంది. ఎప్పుడైనా ఒకవేళ మీరు సిగరెట్ కాల్చిన ఎక్కడైనా ఇండస్ట్రియల్ sites కి వెళ్ళి, that system will detect and it will immediately give the buzzer sound, or it will give some messages, or it will send some alarm to the authorities. Smoke aina, gas aina, same, students. రెండిట్లో రెండిటి సిస్టమ్ వర్క్ చేసేది సేమ్ ఉంటుంది. అది సెవెరల్ స్మోక్ డిటెక్షన్ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే, చాలా ఆఫీసెస్ లో ఇప్పుడు మేజర్ గా మీరు ఏదైనా కంపెనీస్కి వెళ్ళారు, కార్పొరేట్స్కి వెళ్ళారు, ఇండస్ట్రీస్కి వెళ్ళారు అంటే వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు, ఈ సిస్టమ్స్ ని డిఫరెంట్ సైట్స్ లో, డిఫరెంట్ ప్లేసెస్ లో ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తారనమాట. ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసి ఏం చేస్తారు, ఎప్పుడైతే ఈ స్మోక్ వచ్చింది అంటే అది డిటెక్ట్ చేసి ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయాలి అనేసి. Now, students, similarly, if you see these sensors, smoke or gas sensors, they are installed in different places, maybe some industries, some corporate companies, or even I can say at different hospitals. Now they are installing the smoke and gas detection sensors, so that every time a smoke comes, either even if you get that smoke through the cigarettes and all, the tobacco burning and all, they definitely detect and they give some information to the authorities. Similar is the case with the gas sensor. They are majorly used in some laboratories, some industries where they don't want any type of sensor, any type of smoke to be released or some gas to be liberated. All these measures will be taken then. I hope, students, you understood. We started with temperature sensor. which is used for detection of temperature. Then we moved on to light dependent resistor, which is depending on light. Based on the light, its value will change based on the intensity of light, I can say. The third is a smoke and gas sensor. Smoke and gas sensor will detect if there are any gas particles or if there is any smoke that is getting produced. It will detect and it will definitely give information. Either it can be through alarming, through light, or through messaging system. Students, now the next type of sensor is our alcohol sensor. The name itself says, students, and I hope you all will be able to connect with it. There are different places on drunk and drive system. You can see that. So every time the police authorities will be holding a sensor, alcohol sensor, and they'll be detecting. Usually these are also known as, or these are also used for breath analyzers devices. Whether the person is drunk or not, there they find this, there they use it effectively. So I'm just sharing one or two applications of all these sensor, students, but that doesn't mean that this is limited only to this reason. As I said, LDR is used for multiple projects, multiple different applications. I have shown you only one, that is night light system. Similarly, gas and smoke sensors are used in different fields for different applications. I'm just sharing one application with you so that you understand the sensor. Now, similar way, alcohol sensor, you can see alcohol sensors are, to find out, they use whether the person, the driver who is driving the vehicle, is he drunk or not. To check that, a lot of places alcohol sensors are being used. Now, if you have seen how do they check, they have a big device and they bring it near the mouth, and they see that they analyze the breath and they test that with that. But if you see inside that device, this is a small sensor which is actually sensing it, and then there will be a controlling unit which will give the information, and then that will indicate either through a light or an alarm. It will give a small beep at some times, saying that the person is, yes, positive, which means he is drunk. At times it has light system. It will give a red light or a green light, wherein red light indicates the person is drunk and the green light indicates he's not. So there are different systems used to show the output, but inside that big device, the starting work or the majority of the work will be based on this sensing system. The next sensor that we have is a touch sensor. Touch sensor, again, the name itself says it will detect the touch. So in all of our smartphones, you can see smart devices, whether it is a laptop or it's a screen touch devices or it's a tablet, anything that you have something called a touch sensor. It will detect your touch and it will work accordingly. And whenever you touch something, it will detect that there's a finger and it will perform some specific operations. For example, I'm opening a camera, I'm touching it. It is detecting and it understood that somebody's touching this icon, which means I should open the camera. So all this will happen in the processing unit or in the central unit. The only things that we see is we are touching and the camera is opening. So it's two things that we are seeing, but inside it, once it is sensing, it will send information. That information will be processed and then the output will come. So everything will happen based on different time levels, time ranges, but all the sensors works in a similar way, students. So touch sensor is another one that you can identify, and you can easily use it in your projects, different projects that you want to develop. Now similarly, humidity sensor ఉంటుంది. హ్యూమిడిటీ సెన్సర్ ఏం పనిచేస్తుంది, మనకి వెదర్ మానిటరింగ్ సిస్టమ్స్ లో చాలా యూజ్ చేస్తారు ఈ హ్యూమిడిటీ సెన్సర్. మనకి ఎంత ఉంది హ్యూమిడిటీ అని ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయడానికి మనకి హ్యూమిడిటీ టెంపరేచర్స్, హ్యూమిడిటీ సెన్సర్స్ మనము యూజ్ చేస్తాము. సో now there are different students, we have seen temperature sensors and these are the humidity sensors. So both can also come in one package. Ante oka sensor ela vastundante adi temperature, humidity rendu measure cheyadaniki you can use one sensor, or you can have different sensors for different two types. There is students, ek temperature sensor hai, ek humidity sensor hai. ये दोनों को मिला के एक और सेंसर मिलता है मार्केट में जो टेम्परेचर ह्यूमिडिटी सेंसर होता है. सो इट कैन बी बोथ वेज. If you see temperature sensor or humidity sensor, you can buy both separately, or you can buy one which can perform both the tasks. Now, tilt sensor. Students, tilt sensor, again, the name itself says it will measure the inclination. So if I have some object in my hand, if I'm tilting it in any direction, that will measure the tilt, that will measure the inclination. సో స్టూడెంట్స్ అగైన్ ఇక్కడ మళ్ళీ టిల్ట్ సెన్సర్ ఎలా పనిచేస్తుంది, అది ఎంత టిల్ట్ గా ఉంది అంటే ఇన్క్లినేషన్ గురించి అది చెప్తుంది అనమాట. అంటే ఎంత మనం దానికి బెండ్ చేస్తున్నాము, ఎటు సైడ్ అది బెండ్ అవుతుంది అది చెక్ చేయడానికి మనకి టిల్ట్ సెన్సర్ పనికొస్తుంది. If you have used some games like Temple Run, students, it will show you tilt the phone so that you can touch or you can get all the coins అనేసి. అది కూడా tilt sensor కూడా మన మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్ లో దొరుకుతుంది. You need to see whether your device has that or not. బేసిక్ గా ఇది ఇన్క్లినేషన్ అంటే ఎంత బెండ్ అవుతుంది, అది ఏ సైడ్ కి బెండ్ అవుతుంది అని చెక్ చేయడానికి సెన్సర్ ఉపయోగిస్తాము. Students, you might have seen a lot of different places where tilt sensor are also used, and even your mobile phones are, I'm sure, even if at least one or two devices will definitely come with tilt sensor if you're looking into the market. Now comes a different sensor, students, ultrasonic sensor. All the sensors till now that I discussed, with the name you were able to understand some application or some use of it. You will get a different idea. You'll definitely get an idea when you hear the word temperature sensor, tilt sensor, sound sensor, light sensor. All these are the normal ones. Now something different is ultrasonic sensor. It's a non-contact type device, students, which means without touching it will identify and it will detect your presence, or it will detect the object anamata. So this ultrasonic sensor works on the principle of sound waves. So I'll tell you example of where the sensors are majorly used, and I think you'll be able to connect, students. See, we all have two eyes and we can see. So we can see what is in front of us. We can identify different objects and all. So if I'm taking an example of a visually impaired person, so if the person cannot see, or if his eyesight is very low, he is not able to properly identify things and all, then they'll not be able to identify objects, what is coming in front of them, or what is the object present in front of them. In that case, this sensor, the two eyes of the sensor that you are seeing on the screen, can definitely be an artificial eye for them. So just remember this as an artificial eye for a blind person. So it has two eyes similar to the humans that we have, but the two eyes here are, one is a transmitter, the other one is a receiver, which means one will give waves, one will release some waves, transmit some waves, other will see, are these waves coming to me or not. So first thing is, there are two eyes of a sensor. They're just like human eyes. One will, the only difference I can say here, one will send information, the other will receive information. So if the information is going, if the waves are going, and if they're reflecting back, then it is assuming that there is some objects or some obstacle in front of it. So students, before we go further about ultrasonic sensor, let's see a simple video of ultrasonic sensor. How is it working? I think we'll be able to better understand. Give me a moment, students. I'm sharing the video. Students, here is a simple video of ultrasonic sensor. Let's watch this.
The module transmit a ultrasonic sound of 40 kilohertz. This sound will be reflected back if an object is present in front of it. The reflected sound wave is received by the receiver present in the model. The distance can be calculated by measuring the travel time and the speed of sound. So the distance equal time into speed of calculated by measuring.
Students, as I said, there are two eyes of the sensor. One is a transmitter, one is a receiver. What does the transmitter do? It will keep sending the waves. And if there is any object, ante edana munduku vachindi samne koi object hai, तभी ये वेव्स रिफ्लेक्ट होके पीछे आएंगी. अगर ये रिफ्लेक्ट होके पीछे नहीं आ रही है, यानी कि ये वेव्स जा रही है सिर्फ रिटर्न नहीं आ रही, दैट मीन्स देयर इज नो ऑब्जेक्ट इन फ्रंट ऑफ इट. So sending waves and checking whether these waves are reflecting or not. So you might have seen, different projects like a blind glove, blind stick, the students are developing. Aids, these are just the, I can say, a helping a support system for the visually impaired people. So with the names blind glove, blind stick, these are the projects which majorly our students have been developing. So how the system works: first, on a stick, on a blind stick, a normal stick will take and will stick the sensor to it, and there definitely be a controlling sensor, a controlling unit, the battery and all will be there. So what does the sensor do? Once a blind person walks with that stick, it will keep sending the waves, and if the waves are coming back, it will have a vibration motor or a alarming unit to tell the person that yes, there are waves coming back, which means there's an object in front of you. And if there is no object, then it will, the buzzer or the alarming unit will be off, and the waves will be continuously sent, and until and unless they receive back any waves, till then the alarming unit will be off. So again, as I was repeating since the beginning of the session, sensing unit will work first. Sensor will detect the waves, whether they are coming or not. If they are coming, it will give information to the controller. Controller will turn on the buzzer so that a buzzer or an LED or some output system will work. So all this is happening again simultaneously, students. This was a simple video of our ultrasonic sensor. So going ahead, let's see what are the different other sensors that we have. So we have something called a proximity sensor, students. Again, this is also a non-contact type, which means you need not touch this sensor. Without touching itself, it will work. Now it can detect presence of any object. If there is anything in front of it, it will definitely detect this proximity sensor. Now basically, దీని చుట్టుపక్కల ఏదైనా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ వచ్చింది అంటే కొంత రేంజ్ లో అది ఈజీగా ఐడెంటిఫై చేసేస్తుంది. దానికి మనము ప్రాక్సిమిటీ సెన్సర్ అనేసి పేరు. అలానే స్టూడెంట్స్, we also have something called infrared sensor. Now infrared, you all know, again it is related to a light based sensor. As we have seen, light dependent resistor, LDR. Similarly, we have one more light sensor, that is infrared sensor. Now it is used again, to identify it. It basically works on the based on the light system. So based on the intensity of light, again it will work, and these are majorly used in applications like proximity and object detection. So if there is any object coming, again you can use this sensor. So at times, students, in the blind project, I said blind stick or blind glove, our projects lo IR sensor kuda chala mandi students use chestaru. So it can be both light dependent, it can be both your infrared sensor as well as your ultrasonic sensor. Okay. Students are noting down the points, so they want me to go a little slow in taking the slides forward. Students, if you are noting down, take the running notes, but when it comes to the presentation, the entire presentation I'll share with all the students and the school management. Students, all the sensors that we have seen, they're definitely working in different ways, different applications, but we will check the characteristics of the sensors, or how do we understand the sensors are working properly, or what are the different characteristics that we take into consideration when we are taking up any sensors. ఎప్పుడైతే మనం సెన్సర్స్ యూజ్ చేయాలి అని అనుకుంటామో దానికి ఏ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఏవే పాయింట్స్ మనం మైండ్ఫుల్ ఉండి మనం యూజ్ చేయాలి అంటే ఇక్కడ 5 ఉన్నాయి. ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ సీ అక్యురసీ. ఇప్పుడు టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ యూజ్ చేశారు అంటే వాట్ యుల్ డూ, ఫస్ట్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు సీ అది ఎంత అక్యురేట్ గా ఉంది అంటే ఎంత క్లోజ్ వాల్యూ ఇస్తుంది. నార్మల్ టెంపరేచర్ మనం వేరే ఎక్కడైనా డివైస్ లో చెక్ చేసుకొని ఈ టెంపరేచర్ సెన్సర్ యూస్ చేస్తే వాల్యూ రియల్ వాల్యూకి క్లోజ్ గా ఉండాలి. అది అక్యురసీ. అక్యురసీ అంటే ఆన్సర్ ఎంత అక్యురేట్ గా వస్తుంది, ఎంత సేమ్ आंसर వస్తుంది అన్నది అక్యురసీ. सो बच्चों पहले हम एक्यूरेसी देखते हैं जब भी हम सेंसर्स के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स पता करते हैं, सेंसर्स के हम डिपेंडेंसीज चेक करते हैं कि किस चीज पे हम डिपेंड होकर हमारे सेंसर को सही समझे या किस तरीके से यूज करें. वो सेंसर समझने के लिए पहले हम एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एक्यूरेसी रखते हैं. एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे अगर आप टेम्परेचर सेंसर ले लिए, आपका टेम्परेचर सेंसर जो वैल्यू बता रहा है और जो रियल वैल्यू है बाहर का टेम्परेचर, वो रियल वैल्यू और आपके टेम्परेचर की वैल्यू काफी ज्यादा सेम होनी चाहिए. सेम वैल्यू अगर 40 ना रहा तो एटलीस्ट 39.5 और 40 ऐसे तो भी रहना है. तो वो एक्यूरेसी लेवल हम चेक करते हैं पहले. सेकेंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक विल बी रेस्पॉन्स टाइम. How much time is it taking to produce that output or generate that output after receiving input? Now I asked this temperature sensor, I commanded it that you have to measure the temperature. How much time is the temperature sensor taking to measure the sound? That is also important. If my fingerprint sensor takes 1 minute to open up, do you think we'll use this sensor? 1 minute, who will wait to turn on their mobile phone, students? It will be very difficult for us. So response time is something which we always have to consider. Response time ante enta time lo adi manaki response istundi. ఒకవేళ అజ్యూమ్ చేయండి, జస్ట్ ఇమాజిన్ చేయండి, ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ సెన్సర్ పెట్టేశాను ఫోన్ కి, అది ఓపెన్ అవ్వడానికి 1 minute పడుతుంది అంటే ఒక్క నిమిషం ఆగి మనం ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ యూజ్ చేయాలి అంటే మనం యూజ్ చేస్తామా ప్రింటర్ అసలు, ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ అసలు? We will not use it because 1 minute every time opening the phone, 1 minute you have to spend. Instead we can go ahead with any other locking system. So that is something called a response time, students. Then repeatability. And if I'm giving similar situations or if I'm opening every 5 seconds my phone, I'm turning on and off, ఎంత time adi repetition కోసం తీసుకుంటుంది. How much time we will see if I'm giving multiple asking my temperature sensor to measure at different conditions అన్నమాట. సిమిలర్ కండిషన్స్ ఇచ్చి మెజర్ చేయి అంటే ఎంత టైంలో అది రిపీట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది, కితనే టైం में वो रिपीट करता है प्रोजेक्ट का, that itself is called repeatability. Now power usage, the question I am putting it again to the students please answer me. Power usage అంటే కరెంట్ యూసేజ్, బ్యాటరీ యూసేజ్ ఎక్కువ ఉండాలా తక్కువ ఉండాలా? Should the battery usage be less or more when it comes to using our sensors? Any sensor that you are using, कोई भी सेंसर आप यूज करो, उसका पावर यूसेज कम होना चाहिए या ज्यादा होना चाहिए? करंट का यूसेज कितना होना चाहिए? Students, you can answer again using the chat box of okay, very good students. It should be less. Yes. Students, when it comes to power usage, it should be less. Okavela, just imagine I'm using a fingerprint sensor because of which my phone's battery is coming down by 10% every time I'm using fingerprint. Will we use fingerprint? No. Yes. It should be less power usage, students. करंट या पावर यूसेज जो होता है वो काफी ज्यादा कम होना है. मैं एक बार फिंगरप्रिंट लगाऊं, मेरी चार्जिंग 10% कम हो रही है, कौन यूज करेगा फिंगरप्रिंट सेंसर? तो हमें फिंगरप्रिंट सेंसर या कोई भी सेंसर यूज करते टाइम उसका पावर कंजप्शन भी हमें याद रखना है, वो भी एक मेजर फैक्टर है. Yes, students, I am getting a lot of answers with less power should be there. Yes, the power consumption should be less. Now the last characteristics that I would say, I would suggest is field of view. See, it is in which it should specify the area that is viewed by the sensors, which means ekkada manam use chestunnamo a view, a field view nu manam gurtu pettukovali. Now, yes, power usage should be less, students. Yeah, coming back to the field of view, students, it should specify which area is viewed by the sensor. Now, for example, fingerprint sensor ఉంది, దానికి నేను ఫింగర్ పైన సెన్సర్ పైన పెట్టకుండా పక్కన స్క్రీన్ పైన పెట్టి ఓపెన్ అవ్వండి అంటే ఫోన్ ఓపెన్ అవుతుందా? that will not work out. So it should always have a range anamata. Prati sensor ku oka range undali. Aa range lo adi pani chestundi anesi. The last one is reliability. Reliability ante entante మనం డబ్బులు పెడుతున్నాము, ఫోన్ కొంటున్నాము, ఆ ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ సెన్సార్ పని చేయట్లేదు 10 hours తర్వాత లేదా 10 days తర్వాత అంటే అది మనకి కాస్ట్ ఎఫెక్టివ్ కాదు. అది లాంగ్ లాస్టింగ్ ఉండాలి. అంటే ఇట్ షుడ్ వర్క్ ఫర్ అ लॉन्ग टाइम. हम जितना पैसा डाल के उसको खरीद रहे हैं वो उतना ही ज्यादा टाइम हमारे साथ वर्क करना चाहिए. उसका फंक्शनिंग जो है वो एक्टिव होना चाहिए काफी ज्यादा टाइम तक. लॉन्ग लास्टिंग हम बोल रहे हैं ताकि वो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम तक वो वर्क करे. So students, here are the few characteristics of the sensors that we have to keep in mind before using the sensors. Now, if you go ahead and find out, there may be many more characteristics based on the field of application anamata. डिपेंड करता है कि हम कहाँ यूज कर रहे हैं. हम एटीएल लैब के हद तक यूज कर रहे हैं, हम प्रोटोटाइपिंग के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं, तो ये फीचर्स, ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स काफी है. अगर आप रियल टाइम में कर रहे हो, इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर अ रियल टाइम एप्लीकेशन एंड इफ यू आर पुटिंग अ डोर सिस्टम टू योर स्कूल एंड ऑल, मे बी देयर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स कैन ऑल्सो बी, एडिशनल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स कैन ऑल्सो बी इंक्लूडेड. But for a prototyping and a small scale purpose, I can say this all are the this all are enough for us to keep in mind before going for selection of the sensors or using them. Now comes the question, students. There is also a question in the chat box. Madam, from when did we start using the sensors? So the answer is here, students. Let's look into the history of sensors. ఎప్పటి నుంచి ఈ సెన్సర్లు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాము, ఎప్పటికి వచ్చాము, ఇంకెంతవరకు ఇది సెన్సర్స్ పోతాయి, ఫ్యూచర్ లో ఇంకా సెన్సర్స్ వస్తాయా లేవా, అది ఎక్కడి నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అయింది. చాట్ బాక్స్ లో కూడా ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చారు. సో లెట్స్ సీ స్టూడెంట్స్ హియర్. మీ స్క్రీన్ పైన మీరు చూడొచ్చు స్టూడెంట్స్, ఒక గ్రాఫ్ లా పోతుంది పైన. 2005 లో యాక్సిలరోమీటర్ వచ్చింది, అదే 7కి వచ్చినప్పుడు ప్రాక్సిమిటీ వచ్చింది. పోతూ పోతూ ఇంకా మనము 2015 వరకు వస్తే ఇయర్ వైజ్ మీకు సెన్సర్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఏ ఇయర్ లో ఏ సెన్సర్ మనకి వాళ్ళు పెట్టారు, ఎప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి వర్కింగ్ లో వచ్చింది, ఎప్పుడు ఇంట్రొడ్యూస్ చేశారు అన్నది అంతా మీకు ఇక్కడ ఉంది. 2009-10 మధ్యలో మనకి గైరోస్కోప్ అనేది వచ్చింది. దాని తర్వాత మనకి టెంపరేచర్ హ్యూమిడిటీ ఫోన్స్ లో వచ్చేసాయి, టెంపరేచర్ హ్యూమిడిటీ సెన్సర్స్ ఫోన్ లో వచ్చేసాయి. మీకు ఈ ఫోటోగ్రాఫ్ లో మీకు అప్లికేషన్ తో సహా ఎక్కడెక్కడ అది ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేశారు అన్నది కనపడుతుంది. సో స్టూడెంట్స్, ఇవన్నీ స్టార్టింగ్ I can say years ago it started, and now it all is getting connected with Internet of Things. A lot of sensors are integrated with Internet of Devices or Internet of Things, and now the sensor market will continue to accelerate. Ante idi ఇంకా వస్తూనే ఉంటాయి సెన్సర్స్, మనం నేర్చుకుంటూనే పోతాము. సో మీకు స్క్రీన్ పైన మీరు చూడొచ్చు ఎన్ని రకాల సెన్సర్లు మనకి ఆల్రెడీ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసేసారు, మనం యూస్ చేస్తున్నాము, అండ్ ఇంకా అది వస్తూనే ఉంటుంది. సో స్టూడెంట్స్, మూవింగ్ అహెడ్, I'll definitely share the slides with you all students, those who are taking notes. For other students, here is a brief history of the sensors. So in 1990s and early 2000s, ante 1999 or 2000s lo appudu ee sensors ane concept, the sensors concept has come into, I can say a lot of systems have started using it, such as embedded systems. Various factories have started using it. Temperature, motion sensors, to understand different physical changes in the systems, machines. There it all started. So to check the weight, to check the temperature, motion of a motion sensor they used, so that they identify and they detect some changes. So idanta 1990s lo 2000s lo it started. And since then, the first iPhone and Android phone started using it in the late 2000s. Anamata ante 2000s lo manaki mobile phones lo sensors include cheyadam idanta start ayindi. 1990 lo మనకి ఎంబెడెడ్ సిస్టమ్స్ అంటే మషీనరీస్ లో వెయిట్ టెంపరేచర్ అవన్నీ మెజర్ చేయడానికి యూజ్ చేశారు. కానీ అది 2000s లో వచ్చినప్పుడు మన మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్ లో సెన్సర్స్ వాడడం స్టార్ట్ చేసేసారు. Yes, students, the PDF of this presentation will be shared with you all. So students, now the sensors will how they'll continue to evolve. అంటే ఈ sensors ఇంకా పోతూ పోతూ ఎలా వస్తాయి आगे जाते टाइम के साथ हम कैसे ये sensors evolve होते जाएंगे, आप यहाँ पे स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हो. Abhi, my total understanding is all the sensors integration will happen. Definitely it has already started with Internet of Things and physical cyber system, that is fourth industrial revolution. So all the technologies with the fourth industrial revolution unnayo, all those industrial revolutions will, all the technologies of fourth industrial revolution will use the sensors so that they continue to evolve inka. आगे जाते टाइम पे फ्यूचर में काफी ज्यादा और सेंसर्स डेफिनेटली इवॉल्व होंगे स्टूडेंट्स, और ज्यादा सेंसर्स आएंगे मार्केट में. और ये सारे अभी जो हमारे फोर्थ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन के टेक्नोलॉजी से, जैसे 3D प्रिंटिंग हो गया, जैसे ड्राइवरलेस कार्स हो गए, वो सारों के साथ रोबोट्स हो गए, ये सारों के साथ काफी ज्यादा और सेंसर्स डेफिनेटली आएंगे. Now, before I go to integrated circuits, I have been telling since then that students, all the sensors will definitely work with some controlling unit. Now, going back to the example that I gave in the beginning, make example in the beginning lo em cheppana, okavela make hot boiling milk ichi finger pettandi ante pedtara ani adiganu. You said no. Appudu emaindi, your finger, you sensed the question and your brain was a major controlling unit which stopped you from putting your fingers. If you understand it in this way, మీ బ్రెయిన్ మీకు అది మేజర్ యూనిట్ అన్నమాట. అదేం చేస్తుంది, మీ ఫింగర్ పెట్టొద్దు మిల్క్ లో అనేసి మీకు గైడ్ చేస్తుంది. Your brain has instructed you, you should respond with a no, you will not put your finger into the boiling milk because that will hurt you, that will burn your hand or your fingers అనేసి. Similarly, all the sensors will not work without something called a controller or a processor. దీనికి కూడా సెన్సర్ మాత్రం పనిచేస్తుంది, కానీ ఆ కంట్రోలింగ్ యూనిట్ ఉండాలి కదా, ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ చేసి అది కరెక్టా రాంగా, అది గుడ్డా బ్యాడా ఏదో ఒకటి చెప్పడానికి. For that we definitely need something called a controlling unit. That is in our case we majorly focus on microcontrollers, students. Controllers, microcontrollers are something which will definitely control the functioning of the sensors, and none of the sensors will work without controlling unit. To give you an example here, students, now if a person expires, do you think I'll put its finger in boiling water, will that affect the dead body? Or if I'm keeping a robot's finger in boiling water, will it make any sense? No, because even if, at least a robot can respond, but not a dead body, because its brain functioning and all has stopped. Maybe for a limited time it may function, but after 4 or 5 hours, if I'm seeing that if I'm putting the fingers again in a boiling water, that will not affect the body, because their brain is not functioning and it is not giving them instructions to remove the finger from there, or remove your fingers from the boiling milk. It is harming you, hurting you. As our brain is instructing, once the person expires, our brain will not instruct and this will not work out. Similar is the case, none of the sensors will work without the controller. If there is no controlling, if there is no brain, none of the sensors will work. So all these brains are packed into a circuit that is called integrated circuit. All these controllers comes in integrated circuit format. Integrated circuit, yesterday we learned about circuits. Today we had a recap of circuits. So circuit is something wherein current flows and different components will be there, whether a resistor or LED or some units will be there, some components will be there. All these components are packed into an simple I can say a circuit format that is called an IC. they are going to be the brains of the most circuit. This ICs, integrated circuits, are the brain of all the circuits anamata. Now even if you see a remote, the example that I gave yesterday, once you look into that brain, mira remote lo chusaru ante, there definitely will be an IC again anamata, integrated circuit. ఇవి చూడడానికి ఎలా ఉంటాయి, నిన్న పీసీబీ బోర్డ్ చెప్పాను కదా, ఆ బోర్డ్ లానే ఈ ఐసీస్ ఉంటాయి. ఇవేమవుతాయంటే, ఈ ఐసీ ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ సర్క్యూట్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఇది ఒక చిన్న సర్క్యూట్ ఉంటుంది, దాంట్లో అన్ని కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఒక ఎల్ఈడి అయినా, రెసిస్టర్ అయినా, ట్రాన్సిస్టర్, కెపాసిటర్, నిన్న ఏవేవి చదువుకున్నామో అన్ని కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి. వాటికి ఇంకా ఎక్స్ట్రా కాంపోనెంట్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి. అవన్నిటికి ప్యాక్ చేసేసి చిన్న క్లిప్లా, చిన్న సర్క్యూట్ల చిప్లా ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తారు. అది మనకి ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ సర్క్యూట్ అన్నమాట. So this integrated circuits can definitely function as your brains of your complete circuitry, and all your microcontrollers, the way I said controllers, all these controllers will have at least one IC in them. Now ఈ ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ సర్క్యూట్స్ స్టార్టింగ్ లో స్మాల్ స్కేల్ వచ్చాయి, ఇప్పుడు విఎల్ఎస్ఐ, మళ్ళీ మధ్యలో విఎల్ఎస్ఐ వచ్చాయి, అల్ట్రా లార్జ్ స్కేల్ వచ్చాయి. సో దిస్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్, ఐ కెన్ సే, క్లాసిఫికేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ సర్క్యూట్స్. IC అంటే integrated circuit. Full form ఏంటిదంటే IC is integrated circuits. Now this integrated circuits are again, different types of ICs we have. It can be small scale, medium scale, large scale, very large scale, super large scale, and ultra large scale. So ఇవన్నీ different ICs. ICs size ఎలా చేంజ్ అయింది, why are we calling small, why are we calling medium, large, why are we calling these numbers, based on how many components they can have in them. If it's a very small scale IC, it will have up to 10 or less than 10 components it will have. If it's medium scale, it will be 10 to 100. Large scale, 100 to 1000. Like that, the value, the number of components will increase. Small scale ante untundi, what it will have less than 10 components. It can be resistors, it can be transistors, it can be number of other logic gates. So all this will be up to 10 only. Similarly, if you go for ultra large scale, it can have more than 1 million transistors. So it's a very big. So these ultra large scales are majorly used in our computers and all. So students, taking ahead the controller topic, I'll pause here for again 4 minutes, so that at 10:45 we'll start our class again. Now here I want you all to recap what all we have learned till date in, till now in our class today. So today we started with recap of yesterday's, and we had some puzzle questions to understand open circuit, closed circuit, series, parallel, all that we have done. And then we switched on to different types of sensors. We've seen their applications. Now we have seen real-time applications of automatic door system, or at least fingerprint sensor. And then we have moved on to study different types of sensors. Then we moved on to study integrated circuits. None of the sensors will work without ICs. So integrated circuits or microcontrollers we have seen. And now we are pausing here for a break. So if you are studying in a if you all are in a class, I would want one student, I would request them to stand up. One student can stand and revise what all have we done till now. And maybe after 4 minutes again, we'll start the class with microcontrollers and Internet of Things. Okay. Students, I am here pausing for not 5 minutes but 15 minutes. So we'll give 15 minutes break to all the students so they can have a short break. They can go for the lunch if they want, or even if a few students are willing to have their breakfast and take a bio break. So all this can be done, and we'll continue our session exactly at 11 o'clock again. Students, you all can take a 15 minutes break and come back. At 11 o'clock, we'll start the session again. స్టూడెంట్స్ మనం ఇక్కడ 5 minutes కాదు 15 minutes బ్రేక్ తీసుకుంటున్నాము. సో దట్ మీరు వాష్రూమ్స్ కి లేదా మీరు బయో బ్రేక్ కి మీరు వాటర్ కోసం ఏ బ్రేక్ తీసుకోవాలి అన్న ఈ 15 minutes తీసుకొని యూ ఆల్ కెన్ కమ్ బ్యాక్ బై 11 o'clock అగైన్. సెషన్ ఓపెన్ ఏ ఉంటుంది, మేము ఇక్కడే ఉన్నాము, మీరు బ్రేక్ తీసుకొని త్వరగా రిటర్న్ రండి.
Okay. Hi, hello students. So I hope good morning first of all. So I think you all are back right now, and I hope you all have done your lunch. आप सभी ने अपना lunch कर लिया होगा. We have taken I think almost 20 minutes break, and now अभी हम start करने वाले हैं with our new topic. We are going to start with our new topic, that is microcontroller. So I'm going to discuss here about the microcontroller. आप सभी को पता होगा आपके स्कूल में एक कंट्रोलर है जिसको हम आर्डिनो बोलते हैं, और आप सभी उसके आर्डिनो से familiar होंगे. You all are familiar with a board. We call it Arduino. Basically, what is Arduino? What is microcontroller? We'll discuss in this session. हम अभी आर्डिनो के बारे में समझेंगे और कैसे आप आर्डिनो को यूज करके अपने एयरटेल मैराथन में या किसी अदर कंपटीशन में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं, वो हम जानेंगे. सो मैं आपको एक प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बताने वाला हूं जिससे आप घर बैठे बैठे अपने आर्डिनो के प्रोजेक्ट्स बना सकते हैं अपने मोबाइल फोन पे, अपने लैपटॉप पे. So you can create your projects based on Arduino on your laptop or on your mobile phone, and you can participate in ATL marathon if you think that you don't have any ATL components and all at your home. So basically, what is a microcontroller? Microcontroller is just it's a brain basically, which how it works. It takes input, process, and then sends the output. माइक्रोकंट्रोलर कैसे काम करता है? ये इनपुट लेता है, उसको प्रोसेस करता है एंड आउटपुट देता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे हमारा ब्रेन है, हम आईज से देखते हैं, हम आईज से कोई ऑब्जेक्ट देखते हैं, उसको ब्रेन से प्रोसेस करते हैं और उसी के अकॉर्डिंगली रिएक्ट करते हैं. For example, what we do as a human being, we sees all the things from our eyes. Our brain fetches the data from eyes, then it process, and then it do some kind of output through our hand, through our legs, or through any, so that is same microcontroller do. Microcontroller भी ऐसे ही काम करता है. So it's a kind of a brain actually. It's a kind of a robotics brain. Okay, like in human being we have a brain. In the same way, in microcontroller is a part of it's a brain. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Just a second. Yes. So today we are going to discuss about microcontroller, Arduino, Arduino Scratch structure, about the software and Arduino projects. So अभी जो हमारा आज हम इस हम जो हमारा सेशन है, यहाँ पे हम क्या क्या डिस्कस करेंगे. सबसे पहले हम माइक्रो कंट्रोलर के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. माइक्रो कंट्रोलर के बाद आर्डिनो क्या होता है, उसकी फैमिली के बारे में, एंड देन आर्डिनो से कैसे हम प्रोग्रामिंग्स बना सकते हैं और आर्डिनो से रिलेटेड कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स हम बनाएंगे. सो बेसिकली सबसे पहले हम बात करते हैं माइक्रो कंट्रोलर. तो आप यहाँ पिक्चर में देख रहे हैं, दिस इज द कंट्रोल सिस्टम. ये कंट्रोल सिस्टम है, एक टाइप का ब्रेन है जो इनपुट डेटा फैच करता है, इनपुट लेता है एनवायरमेंट से और आउटपुट देता है. So it's a controlling system that takes input from the environment and produce the output. So I'll give in an easy way, if I explain, input means it's a sensor, any kind of sensor, as ma'am discussed and as ma'am already explained, I think a lot of kind of sensor in the previous session. So all the sensors takes input, and then sensors, after taking the input from the environment, it sends the data to the control system, and control system process the data and then sends the signal to the output. Output means it can be a motor, LED, it means any output device. आउटपुट कंट्रोलिंग सिस्टम के माइक्रो कंट्रोलर बेसिकली काम कैसे करता है, ये हमारे आसपास के जितने भी सेंसर्स होते हैं, जैसे मैंने भी बताया आपको, PIR सेंसर, इंफ्रारेड सेंसर, अल्ट्रासोनिक सेंसर, है ना, मोशन सेंसर. तो बहुत सारे काइंड ऑफ सेंसर्स क्या करते हैं, डेटा लेते हैं. वो मतलब आसपास के जितनी भी चीजें हो रही है इन्वायरमेंट में, उनसे वो डेटा लेते हैं और डेटा सिग्नल्स की फॉर्म में आर्डिनो या किसी भी माइक्रो कंट्रोलर को दे देते हैं. माइक्रो कंट्रोलर उसको प्रोसेस करता है जिस तरह से हमें काम करना है, और फिर वो आउटपुट किसको देता है, एलईडीज को, मोटर को, या कोई भी आउटपुट डिवाइस. हमारे पास बहुत सारे आउटपुट डिवाइस है, तो वो किसी को भी ना डेटा सेंड करता है. तो दिस इज हाउ माइक्रो कंट्रोलर वर्क. और वी कैन से एक रोबोट हमारा ऐसे ही काम करता है. रोबोट हमारा सेंसर से डेटा लेता है एंड देन आउटपुट एज अ मोटर या किसी भी आउटपुट डिवाइस को डेटा सेंड कर देता है. So here you can see here in this screen, there we have a different kinds of microcontroller. Atmel, AVR, these are the family. Arduino is also a microcontroller. Okay, so in ATL lab we always use mostly we use Arduino because it's easy to use. All right, and there are some terminologies. यहाँ पे कुछ terminologies हैं जैसे आपने सुना होगा, you have heard in your ATL lab like digital to analog converter, analog to digital converter. So ये भी क्या है, एक part है हमारे microcontroller का. This is also a part of microcontroller. Basically how microcontroller works, it converts the digital signal into analog signal or analog signal into digital signal. Okay, I think you have heard about this analog and digital. Okay, so these are kind of signals. So microcontroller क्या करता है, basically different kinds of signals, इलेक्ट्रिक पल्स को लेता है, उसको प्रोसेस करता है और डिजायर आउटपुट हमें देता है. ओके, नाउ for in detail if I explain, can you see there is a board? Have you, I think you have heard or you have seen this board in your ATL lab. आपने अपने ATL lab में ये board देखा होगा, blue color board, और इसके different colors भी आते हैं, green color में भी आता है, blue में भी है. So this is a Arduino. Okay, basically it's a brain of a robot or of a machine. ठीक है, जैसे हम human beings अपने sense of organs, we have 5 sense of organ, eyes, ear, skin, नोज, है ना. दीज आर द सेंस ऑफ ऑर्गन्स. सेंस ऑफ ऑर्गन्स क्या करते हैं, डेटा लेते हैं एनवायरमेंट से. नोज हमारी स्मेल करती है, आईज हमारा सामने लोगों को देखता है, ईयर से हम सुन पाते हैं, स्किन से हम फील कर पाते हैं हॉट या कोल्ड. तो दीज आर ऑल सेंसर्स. इन द सिमिलर वे in ATL lab we have, हमारे पास बहुत सारे different kind of sensor हैं. We have different type of sensor in ATL lab. And how sensor work, sensor basically works like as human beings human being sensor work. Like we have 5 sense of organ, eye, ear, nose, skin. So all the sensors do their task accordingly. Like ear hears the sound, eyes can see the distance or see the picture of, you know, and then skin can feel the temperature, it's a cold or hot. So in the similar way, Arduino's sensors, either it's ultrasonic sensor, it's a infrared sensor, it's a motion sensor. So all sensors detect the presence, detect the what we say, either it's a temperature or it's a heat, motion. ओके, सो जब भी सेंसर कुछ भी सेंस करता है वो डेटा किसको देता है, हमारे इस ब्रेन को, दैट इज Arduino. And in Arduino what we do, we always do programming. So according to programming, Arduino fetches the data and then process the data and sends the output to the output device. I think you have heard in the computer lab that there are some input, there are kinds of electronic device. We called it output device, input device, है ना. Like printer is a output device, monitor is also output device, mouse is a input device, है ना. Then so in the similar way in Arduino also we have input and output, two things. So Arduino we have a software, we call it Arduino IDE. We'll discuss इसके बारे में हम ज़्यादा जानेंगे आगे. And if I tell you about Arduino, so in Arduino you can connect LEDs, motor, you can connect any kind of sensor, है ना, you can connect relay, so that आप इससे अपना मैराथन में कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट बना सकते हैं जब उसके साथ आप अलग अलग काइंड ऑफ सेंसर्स और मोटर्स को कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो स्टूडेंट्स, सबसे पहला कि जो हमारा आर्डिनो है ये बहुत ज़्यादा इट्स अ ओपन सोर्स प्लेटफॉर्म. इसको आप इजीली इंटरनेट से सीख सकते हैं, इसका कोई चार्ज नहीं है. इसको आप सॉफ्टवेयर का डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. द सॉफ्टवेयर इज कम्प्लीटली फ्री एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ ट्यूटोरियल्स ऑन यूट्यूब एंड ऑन गूगल. Okay, so if you want to make big projects on Arduino, you can take help from the Google. There are a lot of tutorials are available on the YouTube. Okay, now the software of this Arduino is available, which is free of cost on the Google. If you search Arduino IDE, you can download the software that is completely free of cost. Arduino के सॉफ्टवेयर को आप फ्री में डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं गूगल से, और जिसका कोई चार्ज नहीं है, एंड इसको आप अपने कंप्यूटर में, अपने लैपटॉप में इंस्टॉल कर सकते हैं. All right, so can you see here? Can anyone tell me the name of these families? How many Arduino families name you have heard? आपने कितने Arduino के फैमिली के नाम पहले सुने थे अपने ATL लैब में? Like here we have Arduino Uno, Arduino Leonardo, then Arduino Dio. So हमारे पास देखो इतनी सारी फैमिलीज हैं, ये सभी हमारे Arduinos हैं. So how many names you have heard? आपने कितने नाम पहले सुने थे इन Arduino में से? I think you have heard about the Arduino Uno or Arduino Mega or na Arduino Mini. But ये हमारे जो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट आर्डिनोज हैं, इसका रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से हम इसका यूज करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हमें जैसा प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है हम वैसा आर्डिनो वहाँ पे यूज करते हैं. सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द रिक्वायरमेंट. Okay, it depends on the requirement, like which kind of Arduino you want to use at which place. All right, so these are the family. And so let's discuss more about Arduino board. Basically Arduino board, we you can see there we have different different pins. आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं हमारे पास अलग अलग पिंस हैं. इन पिन से हम अपने इनपुट आउटपुट डिवाइसेस कनेक्ट करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपको एक एलईडी को ऑन करना है, इफ यू वांट टू मेक एलईडी ऑन और ऑफ, और इफ यू वांट टू मेक अ मोटर ऑन और ऑफ, आपको अपना एक मोटर को भी ऑन ऑफ करना है, तो आप इन पिंस की मदद से, विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस पिंस, you can connect your input output device, and then after programming you can control your output और input devices. आप इन पिन से अपने input output device को connect कर सकते हैं, और input output device को connect करने के बाद with the help of Arduino और programming की मदद से आप अपने device को control कर सकते हैं, या फिर आप कोई भी robot, कोई भी machine आप इसकी help से चला सकते हैं. अब ये काम कैसे करता है, how it work? So first of all, this, can you see this one? This is a USB plug. इससे हम प्रोग्राम अपलोड करते हैं हमारे आर्डिनो के अंदर. यू कैन अपलोड योर प्रोग्राम that you have written, right, that you have written in your computer. So you can upload your program over here and you can run the input output devices. This is the power cable. ये हमारा पावर केबल है जहाँ से हम इसको इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड करते हैं. ठीक, ओके. This is the Atmega microcontroller. Basically it's a brain which controls all the functions. ये सारा फंक्शन कंट्रोल करता है हमारे डिवाइस में. And then here can you see the black, these are the black plastic parts. These are the connecting parts. Here you can see 0, I'll show you this one, 0 1 2 3 4. These are called pins. We call it pins or digital pins. Okay, so starting from 0 1 2 3 up to 13. So you can connect any input or output device over here from 0 to 13. You can connect any wire. Basically we have some kind of wires. Now I showed you yesterday colorful wires, so you can connect any kind of wire over here. And then we have a digital ground. This is a ground pin. Ground pin means a negative pin. You can connect negative pin of your sensors or any device over here. Okay, then we have some more important pins. This one is called reset button. Whenever your program stucks, कभी भी आपका प्रोग्राम अगर अटक जाता है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है, तो इस बटन को प्रेस करके यू कैन रीसेट योर प्रोग्राम, अपने प्रोग्राम को रीसेट कर सकते हैं. देन हियर यू कैन सी, आप यहाँ देखेंगे A0 to A1 A2 A3 A4 A5. A0 से A5 तक वी हैव एनालॉग पिंस. इसको हम बोलते हैं एनालॉग पिंस. और एनालॉग पिंस बेसिकली हम कहाँ यूज करते हैं, फॉर एनालॉग डिवाइसेस. जैसे मोटर का स्पीड हमें कम ज्यादा करना है ना, सो दैट ऑन दैट केस यू कैन यूज दीज पिंस. Then we have Vin, that is voltage input. There are two ground pins, means there are two negative pins. You can connect negative pins over here. Then we have 5-volt power supply. You can connect 5 volt over here. Then we have 3.3 volt, means कोई ऐसा डिवाइस जिसको बहुत कम पावर चाहिए 3.3, so you can, आप इसको यूज कर सकते हैं. किसी को ज्यादा चाहिए आप ये वाला यूज कर सकते हैं. So depend on your requirement, like you need 5-volt power supply to your board or 3.3-volt supply, you can use any pin from here. And then same, we have one more pin that is called reset pin. Again you can reset your program. Now this is all about Arduino. Actually, there are a lot of things over here. यहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो आप समझ सकते हैं, but I have explained main pins that we use mostly while doing the programming. Okay, now let's move to the here Arduino IDE. Arduino IDE is basically a software. With the help of Arduino IDE, you can give instructions or command to your board. Arduino IDE एक सॉफ्टवेयर है जिसकी हेल्प से आप अपने Arduino बोर्ड को प्रोग्रामिंग कर सकते हैं. आप अपने बोर्ड को कुछ भी कमांड देना चाहते हैं, कुछ भी प्रोग्राम देना चाहते हैं, तो आप Arduino IDE की हेल्प से उसको प्रोग्राम कर सकते हैं. So basically ये जो स्क्रीन आप देख रहे हैं, ये हमारा that is our software. This is the software and it's completely free of cost, as I already mentioned. Okay, and here you can do the program means you can do in the form of like आपको यहाँ पे क्या करना है, just आपको codes like लिखने हैं, code you have to write the code over here, है ना. So I will explain you, and you can see this is the link https://authorizedardino.cc login. So with the help of this link you can download your software. आप इस लिंक से अपना आर्डिनो सॉफ्टवेयर को यूज कर सकते हैं, और इसका मेन वेबसाइट भी है जिसके बारे में आपको बताऊंगा अभी. Okay, so in Arduino we have give me a second. Yes, so in Arduino IDE you can see these kind of files जहाँ पे हर फाइल का अपना अपना यूज है. You can save, you can close, you can download the program into the Arduino, so you can do anything in the Arduino as per your requirement. Now if I say about Arduino IDE quick access toolbar, so here we have verify button. Verify means if you want to check your program is okay or not. अगर आपका प्रोग्राम सही है गलत है वो आपको आपका Arduino ही बता देगा with the help of this button, verify button. Okay, upload button we use if you want to upload your program into the Arduino. आप Arduino के अंदर अपना प्रोग्राम अपलोड करना चाहते हैं, so आप upload button का यूज करके उसको कर सकते हैं. Rest of the buttons options are for open and save. If you want to open or save your project, आप अपना प्रोजेक्ट को ओपन या सेव करना चाहते हैं, you can use this button. Okay, now here is the programming part. Like if I talks about the Arduino's programming, मैं अगर Arduino programming की बात करता हूँ, then we have two things. The first is void setup. The second is void loop. Void setup means whenever you connect external device or external input output device with Arduino, you have to mention all these things over here. आप जब भी Arduino से किसी एक्सटर्नल इनपुट आउटपुट डिवाइस को कनेक्ट करते हैं, एलईडी मोटर कुछ भी कनेक्ट करते हैं, तो हमें Arduino को यहाँ वॉइड सेटअप के अंदर बताना होता है कि हमने क्या क्या चीज कनेक्ट की है, कौन से पिन पे कनेक्ट की है, विच इज द इनपुट, विच इज द आउटपुट. वी हैव टू डिक्लेयर ऑल दीज थिंग्स इनसाइड हिट, because Arduino don't know anything. You have connected LED on which pin. Okay, so we have to mention all the things over here. Now इसके बाद जो है, that is the second thing, we have void loop. हमारा जो दूसरा पार्ट है वो है void loop. Void loop means आपको जो प्रोग्रामिंग कराना है, आपको LEDs ऑन करना है, ऑफ करना है, मोटर ऑन ऑफ करना है, कितने देर के लिए करना है, तो वो सभी हम यहाँ पे मेंशन करते हैं. So you can mention all these things like what you want to do with your Arduino. You want to turn on the lights, you want to turn lights on or off, you want to turn motor on or off for how much time. You can mention all these things over here. Okay. Now this is the activity. Basically here what we are doing, we have used Arduino breadboard and LED. We have connected the LED breadboard Arduino with a jumper wire. We call this jumper wire, and here is the program. Okay, so here is the program. I'll show you, I'll do a quick activity also, how to make a program on Tinkercad software, or how to blink an LED. Okay, so we'll do that. हम भी activity करेंगे. Now this is the circuit diagram. अभी हम बनाएंगे इसको, ठीक है. ये हमारा circuit diagram है, and this is how you can connect more sensors over here, because this is the simple program where we have connected Arduino Mega with an LED. हमने यहाँ पे Arduino Mega को LED से connect किया है, इसको हम बोलते हैं simple circuit. Now if you want to make larger circuit, if you want to make some more interesting projects, आपको अगर अच्छे projects बनाने हैं, you can connect ultrasonic sensor with the buzzer and Arduino. हमने अल्ट्रासोनिक सेंसर, बजर और Arduino को कनेक्ट किया है, सो दैट इस प्रोजेक्ट से हम क्या करने वाले हैं, कोई भी अगर थीफ या कोई भी ऐसा पर्सन जो हमारे सेंसर के सामने आएगा तो हमारा बजर बजेगा, है ना. whenever my sensor detects anything in front of it, then buzzer starts playing its sound. So this project we will do in the Arduino, or even you can make much more interesting projects. आप इससे भी ज्यादा अच्छे interesting projects बना सकते हैं using Arduino. And
Neeraj,
yes, so
uh,
let's time for,
Neeraj
yes,
sir, just we'll have few
yeah,
questions here. There are a couple of
yes,
questions on both WhatsApp, both Zoom as well as the YouTube. So the first question is, sir, can we do Arduino programming online without downloading?
yes, we can do. Actually, I'm going to do that part also right now. I'm just
Okay.
after this slide, I'm showing you how we can do this.
Okay.
Yes.
Neeraj, one more question. We have one more request. We have basically from one of the school. They want more details of Arduino like along with the analog digital pins, where do we connect the power supply, what is reset button, they need little more information on that. Can we go back to the
Yes.
Arduino and just take a few more minutes to explain that?
Yes, yes, yes. So, yes. So we have two pins basically. This one is the digital input pin. This one is the digital analog pins. So what is the difference between input and digital and analog? Digital means 0 or 1. If suppose I'm just turning on my button of a LED of a light, है ना, हमारे घर में जो लाइट होता है हम क्या करते हैं, उसको ऑन या ऑफ करते हैं. सो व्हेन आई क्लिक टर्न ऑन, मेरा लाइट ऑन हो जाता है. व्हेन आई टर्न ऑफ, मेरा लाइट ऑफ हो जाता है. दैट मीन्स वी आर सेंडिंग अ सिग्नल ऑफ 0 और 1, ऑफ और ऑन. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड डिजिटल सिग्नल्स. नाउ एट द सेम टाइम इफ आई वांट टू टर्न ऑन माय फैन, ना उसको हमें हाई करना है, लो करना है, मीन्स हम उसको वेरी करना है. कोई भी स्पीड हम कर सकते हैं. वी कैन वेरी, वी कैन चेंज द स्पीड अकॉर्डिंग टू लाइक एनी 0 1 2 3 4 5. So that is called analog, means it fluctuates. I think you have heard, I think you have seen a graph of a square wave or rectangular wave. Just a second, I'll show you. So here, the only difference between analog and digital is, this is a graph. If I says 1 0 1 0, so this means this is on and this is off. This is on, this is off. So we have two conditions, on and off. We called it 1, this is called 0. Okay, so in this case, if I talks about LED, अगर मैं LED की बात करता हूं, so 1 का मतलब मेरा LED क्या होगा, ग्लो करेगा, एंड ऑफ का मतलब मेरा LED ग्लो नहीं करेगा. इन द सेम केस, जब हम इसको 1 करते हैं, LED हमारा क्या होगा, हमारा LED ग्लो करेगा, और ऑफ के कंडीशन में इट विल नॉट ग्लो. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड डिजिटल signals. In the same way, if I talks about analog signals means हमारा जो करंट है, our current will increase gradually and then decrease gradually. At the same time it will, है ना, तो इस तरह से वर्क करता है हमारा जो डिजिटल सिग्नल्स होते हैं. मींस 1 0. So this is called 1 and this is called 0. So for example, if I take an example of a fan, suppose we have a fan are at home and there is a blade of a fan. So when you change the regulator, this is the regulator on the board, जब उसको आप धीरे धीरे इंक्रीज करते हैं तो क्या होता है, हमारा जो फैन का स्पीड है इट इंक्रीजेस ग्रेजुअली, एंड देन जब उसको आप कम करते हैं तो इट डिक्रीज ग्रेजुअली. सो दैट मीन्स यहाँ पे कोई भी ऑन या ऑफ का कंडीशन नहीं है. इट हियर वी कैन सी द करंट इज इंक्रीजिंग और डिक्रीजिंग वेरी ग्रेजुअली, तो वेरी कर रहा है. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एनालॉग सिग्नल्स. ओके, बट एट दिस कंडीशन एक पॉइंट ऐसा आता है जहां पे हमारा फैन बिल्कुल ऑफ हो जाता है, बट रेस्ट ऑफ द टाइम आर पावर और वी कैन से स्पीड ऑफ फैन इज इंक्रीजिंग और डिक्रीजिंग विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम. सो दिस इज द टाइम. सो जैसे आप उसको कम भी कर सकते हैं, ज्यादा भी कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड वेरिएबल और एनालॉग पिंस or signals. All right, so in the same way, if I talk about my Arduino, if you want to use signals like input output for 1 or 0, if you want to use on or off, if you want to use signal for your digital power supplies, like जैसे हमारे पास LEDs है, आप LED को on off करना चाहते हैं, you want to turn on or off the LED, so you can use digital pins. But at the same time, if you want कि जो मेरा LED है उसका जो पावर है ना, एलईडी का जो हमारा एलईडी है उसका पावर धीरे धीरे इंक्रीज हो, धीरे धीरे डिक्रीज हो, मतलब ग्लोनेस जो है उसकी वो स्लोली स्लोली इंक्रीज हो, स्लोली स्लोली डिक्रीज हो. सो ऑन दैट टाइम यू कैन यूज डिजिटल पिन्स ओवर हियर. So that's the main difference between analog pins and digital pins. Side by side, I think you have asked about the reset button. So basically, why we use reset? Let's suppose you are working on a project, you are working on a prototype, and sometimes happens कि हमारा जो program है it's hangs, वो hang हो जाता है due to any reason. So by pressing the reset button, आप अपने program को reset कर सकते हैं. Okay, so उसको reset कर सकते हैं और फिर से start कर सकते हैं. So that's why we used reset button. So that's the difference. Okay,
Yes.
so any other question related
Yeah.
to board? Yes.
Yeah, one question they have. One of the students is asking, he has to do RFID lock sensor. He wants to connect to Arduino. So a little clarity he needs in terms of RFID. So once we go on to the other platform where you
Yes.
show the connections, just briefly explain about this also.
Yes, 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 yes. So if I talks about RFID, here I'll show you RFID. Okay, RFID with Arduino. I'll search like this, RFID with Arduino. And when I open my picture, when I open this picture, now I'll take this one. So you can see there's a picture जहाँ पे they have shared all these things in detail. So this is the RFID chip. Basically, what is RFID? It's a kind of reader. It's a kind of a card reader, we can say, that works on radio transmission. I think you have heard in the metro when you when you ना आपके पास जो मेट्रो में एक कार्ड होता है जिसको आप टच करते हैं ऑटोमेटिकली द गेट्स ओपन, या हम जैसे देखते हैं अटेंडेंस द अटेंडेंस सिस्टम, व्हेन यू टच योर अटेंडेंस कार्ड विद दैट डिवाइस, so आपका अटेंडेंस मार्क हो जाता है. So that is completely based on radio frequencies. So here you can see on my screen there a white color card, and there's a green color card. So that is a RFID. It's a part of our RFID which we can use for detection. And here there's a sensor. This is a RFID reader that reads the card. So how you can use, basically, you can connect this RFID with the Arduino pin, and here they have mentioned all these pin description like
Neeraj sir, your voice is no, not audible. I think, can you please unmute yourself?
the SEK pin with the pin number 13. Okay, so when you connect this RFID with the yes, is my screen visible? I guess I lost my connection.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Now
here,
it's visible.
yes, yes, yes. So here, students, you can see if I talks about RFID, then we have some kind of pins over here. यहाँ पे कुछ pins हैं जिनका nomenclature है, जिनका आप नाम देख सकते हैं on that chip. उस chip पे उनका नाम लिखा होता है. Which one is 3-point volt pin, reset button pin कौन सा है, ground pin कौन सा है ना. तो ये सब pins के name आप देखेंगे side by side. इन्होंने instruct भी किया है कि आपको कौन सा pin कहाँ पे connect करना है. You can connect this pin to pin number 10, this pin to digital pin 13, 11, 12, है ना. IRQ is unconnected, means you have never you haven't connect this pin to any part of Arduino. Then we have ground or digital 9 pin. So इन्होंने पूरा mention किया है, and then you can connect the circuit according to the picture, and then here is the complete programming also. आपको यहाँ programming मिलेगा, and this one is the test part. Just a second. Just a second, students. So here you can see the complete information. So basically the thing is कि if you are going to follow this one, so इन्होंने पूरा यहाँ पे mention भी किया है. But yes, if you want कि इसको बनाना कैसे, how to make this one, so what you have to do when you do the complete circuiting part, जब आप पूरा circuiting वाला part complete कर लेंगे, and then you have to touch your RFID card reader with that part. आपको ये white वाला part अपना जो है, just a second. Yeah, so this one you have to touch with this one. So इससे क्या होता है, जब आप इसको लाइव जब आप प्रैक्टिकल करते हैं, जब इसको इसके साथ टच करते हैं, तो आपका जो आर्डिनो है, मींस जो सीरियल मॉनिटर विल शो द कार्ड नंबर. In the serial monitor you can see the card number, and then you have to save that card number in your programming part. आपको यहाँ पे उसको सेव करना होगा. Okay, and then जब उसको आप सेव कर लेते हैं, like I'll show you here, I guess it is a programming. You have to save that card number over here, and then you can see कि कौन सा कार्ड okay है, कौन सा कार्ड नहीं है okay, तो वो आपको बताएगा. So definitely I'll recommend कि if you are working on this one, because it's a long process. It's not like कि हम आपको इतनी जल्दी करा दें, but yeah, it will take time. But definitely you can follow this some kind of tutorials over here, and in the internet also we have a lot of tutorials over here. So this is how work actually. But yes, if you have any problem, you can write us also over the email. We'll definitely help you in your project. Yes, ma'am. So Yes, I guess, yeah. So I guess time for practical. Will understand how we can connect Arduino, and I think some of the students asked, okay, how, please show us how to connect Arduino, how you can use Tinkercad software. So students, this is the same software that we discussed in the previous class, and you can use this software as a tool, or you can participate in ATL marathon by making the projects over there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a simple basic project, how you can create a LED on or off, or how you can create a traffic light with the help of Arduino. आप Arduino से कैसे ट्रैफिक लाइट सिग्नल बना सकते हैं, या फिर आप कैसे Arduino से लाइट ऑन ऑफ कर सकते हैं. So first of all, we'll do search over here and we'll search Arduino. So I'll double click over here, Arduino. I'll search Arduino and I'll drag and drop the Arduino over here. Okay, so just a second. Yes, so this is my Arduino. As I already mentioned about these pins, digital pins, analog pins. Okay, now let's I want to make a traffic light. Okay, so for making a traffic light I need three LEDs. So to ensure हमारी जो LEDs है हमारे पास हो, I'll search over here LED and हम LED को यहाँ लेके आएंगे. So this is my LED 1, this is LED 2, and this is LED 3. Okay, now you know कि जो हमारा traffic light होता है, we have a traffic light where we can see कि we have three kinds of color. Okay, so we have color red, then color yellow, and then color green. So here, oh sorry, here we have three colors, red, yellow, and green. Now I want to make LEDs on or off after an interval of time. मुझे एक simple interval of time के बाद में अपनी LEDs को हमें on और off करना है. So as we all know that in the traffic light system, the LEDs, the difference between the LEDs is 60 seconds. Like we have when the red LEDs turn on for 30 seconds, then it wait for an interval of time. Then after that it goes off, and then next LED turns on. In the same way, it waits for some time. वो कुछ देर के लिए wait करता है और फिर से हमारा next LED on हो जाता है. So na, so how it happens? Just because of programming. So here we use this microcontroller as a brain, and what we are going to do, we are going to do a programming over here. हम इसको as a brain use करने वाले हैं, और ये brain ही हमारे light को control करेगा. Okay, and the similar way as I'm using here LEDs, you can use any output device. आप यहाँ पे motor भी use कर सकते हैं, आप यहाँ पे कोई भी output device use कर सकते हैं. The process is similar, सब कुछ same है, ठीक है. So first of all we'll do a connection. हम सबसे पहले connection करेंगे. So how we'll start with the connection part. So what we will do first, we have, can you see here we have two pins, the two pins, this one cathode and anode. So first we will click this cathode and we will connect this cathode pin to the ground. Okay, here's the negative pin. Now again we'll use this pin and we'll connect it to the ground, that is second pin. Just a second. Again I'll click and I'll connect it over to the ground pin, this one. Similarly click over here, तो इसको click करना है और यहाँ पे हमें इसको touch करना है like this. So here I have connected all my three pins to the ground. मैंने अपनी तीनों pins को negative पे connect कर दिया, negative पे. Now we have three anode pins, green, yellow and red. Now how we can do this one? इसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे, सबसे पहले हम इन तीनों पिंस को कहाँ कनेक्ट करेंगे, टू द डिजिटल पिंस. वी हैव डिजिटल पिंस फ्रॉम 0 to 13. सो आई विल डू वन थिंग, आई विल मेक अ सर्किट लाइक दिस. इसको प्रॉपरली अच्छे से अरेंज करेंगे. सो आई एम गोइंग टू कनेक्ट इट पिन नंबर 10. ओके, नाउ पिन नंबर 10 I'll connect it to pin number 9, and here pin number 8. ओके, थोड़ा सा इसको बेटर वे में समझने के लिए व्हाट वी कैन डू, इसको हम डिलीट कर देते हैं टू मेक इट लिटिल क्लियर. आई कनेक्ट इट डायरेक्टली लाइक दिस. सो कैन यू इज इट क्लियर टू ऑल how I have connected all these pins? I have connected green pin to 8, yellow to 9, and red to 10, and all the negative pins are connected to ground. हमारे negative pins हैं, हमारे जो तीनों negative pins हैं वो हमारी कहाँ connected है, ground में. I'll change the color also. मैं यहाँ से इसका color भी change कर देता हूँ. Instead of green, I'll make it black. So to understand better, I'll make it black. Okay, black. So for red one, I'll use red color to make it little clear. For the blue one, sorry, yellow one, I'll use yellow color, and for the green one is green. Now I think it's clear to all of you. This is how my circuit is now ready. I have made a circuit to make an LED. In the similar way, if you want to connect three motors, आप अगर तीन motors को connect करना चाहते हैं and you want to operate at different timing, then आप उसको same ऐसे ही कर सकते हैं. ठीक है? Now this is my circuit is complete to make an traffic light. Now, students, what is the next step? The next step is programming part. Hardware part, circuit designing part is complete. Now, the second part is programming part. To understand the programming here in the Tinker software, this is the Tinkercad software, and in the Tinkercad software, you can do programming in two ways. Either it's a block-based programming or either in the coding-based programming. So, to understand how you can do, just click over here. Just a second. So can you see here on this side, there is a code button. I'm sorry, just a second. Yes. So can you see students here, the code part, we use code. If you want to do the coding, अगर आप coding करना चाहते हैं, programming करना चाहते हैं, click on this block. And if you want कि आपका coding हो चुका है, you have completed your coding and you want to check your project, आपने project को check करना चाहते हैं, then click this button, that is start simulation. Start simulation is used if you want to check your program, it's working or not. Okay, now first I'll click on the code wala part because I want to do coding. मुझे coding करना है. So I'll click on the code. Here we have two options basically. The first one is a block based programming. These are the blocks. You can do the coding with the help of blocks. If you think that you don't know any programming language, आपको लगता है कि मुझे कोई programming language नहीं आता, so you आप block based programming भी use कर सकते हैं. The second is block plus text. Block plus text means आप यहाँ block करेंगे, वहाँ आपका text बनता जाएगा. है ना? I think you know, some of the students says कि sir we don't know the coding part, how to do coding. So this is the best platform where what you have to do, you just have to connect the blocks together. You have to connect these blocks together, and you can see here your code, your program is automatically it's working here. Yeah, see, it's already आप यहाँ देखेंगे बन रहा है अपने आप ही. So if you want to learn these kind of codings, you can start with the block based programming. So when you attach block like block 1, then block 2, and you have noticed that your programming is all it's automatically यहाँ पे देखिए बन रहा है, complete खुद से बन रहा है. So this is how you can learn about block based programming, and you can learn the syntax based programming also over here. Then the third is text based. So the text based, you can do directly the code syntax based. Like आपको अगर block based नहीं interesting है, आपको अगर ऐसा आता है, आप directly अपना void setup void loop, you can directly do void setup void loop, all kind of programming वाला part आप you can do automatically here. So this is how it works. Now again I'll repeat, the first one is the block based programming where you can use blocks for the programming part. The second is the block plus text where you can just, what you will do, you can just set the blocks together and automatically your program will be ready over here. And the third one is direct text based, means you can directly write your code over here. You can directly write your syntax over here if you are good in coding wala part. So we'll start with the first block based programming. Okay, we'll start with the block based, or I'll do one thing, students, I'll do one thing. I'll use this वाला part. I'll use this part. मैं इसको use करता हूँ जिससे हमारा block based और coding दोनों एक साथ हो जाए. Okay. Now let's understand how it work. So सबसे पहले हम क्या करेंगे? Yes. So इसको हम थोड़ा सा minimize करते हैं. Now I'll show you. So can you see here my Arduino? This is my Arduino board. Now let's do the programming. I'll delete all these blocks first. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand, like, we have 3 pins and we have connected all these 3 pins together in the pin 8, 9 or 10. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go in the programming wala part, and here I'll use set pin number, which pin number 8. I'll use set pin number 8. High means on. For how much second? So I'll go in the control section. I'll use this button for 1 second. And after 1 second, I want this pin will goes off. So I'll make a duplicate and let paste it over here. I want after 1 second it goes off. So let's try. Click on the start simulator. So can you see here the pin number 8? This one pin number 8. It's turning on and off for 1 second. ओके सो दिस इज हाउ आप भी ब्लॉक बेस्ड प्रोग्रामिंग से अपने एलईडीज को ऑन ऑफ कर सकते हैं एंड साइड बाय साइड कैन यू सी हियर यू कैन चेक योर प्रोग्राम इज ऑल ओवर रेडी ओवर हियर आपका प्रोग्राम भी रेडी हो चुका है अगर आपको ये नहीं आता बट आप यहाँ से इसको कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं आप यहाँ से इजीली सीख सकते हैं नाउ दिस इज only for the one LED. Now I want to make these two LEDs on and off. मुझे ये भी on off करना है. So what I'll do, I'll make a duplicate of this program. I'll make a duplicate and I'll put it over here. Okay. And same again, I'll make a duplicate so that मेरा तीनों LEDs on and off हो जाए. I'll make a duplicate and I'll put it over here like this. Now I'll tell you how it works. So we have pin number 8, 9 and 10. So what I'll write, I'll do here pin number 10. मैं आपको one by one explain करता हूँ. Set pin number 10 to high for how much second? For 1 second. And then what we'll do, set pin number 10 to low for how much second? 1 second. Okay, so we'll connect over here. This is the first part. Okay, then we'll do for pin number 9. So set pin number 9 to high for 1 second. Set pin number 9 to low for 1 second. So this is for the another pin, that is pin number. Yes.
Yeah, Neeraj, I'm so sorry, I'm pausing you again. I'm interrupting.
Yes.
So Neeraj, there are a couple of questions here. See, the circuitry connections, they understood how you have done the connections. Now, when it comes to coding, they are little getting confused, block and simultaneously code also they are seeing. So there are questions like, sir, can you please repeat the coding part, how the different blocks are connected?
Yes. Sir. So students, if I say, if you are at a beginner level, if you don't know about the coding part, so you can use these blocks. So these are the just drag and drop blocks. No need to do any coding. Even you can understand like it's already mentioned over the block. Set pin to 10 means if you want to use pin number 10 and if you want to make it high means on. For how much seconds you want to make it on? For 1 second. So that's why I have used this block. Again, in the same way, if I want to turn off this LED, so what I'll do, I'll attach a block with set pin number 10 to low. Low means I want to make it off. For how much second? 1 second. So this is how my first LED will turn on and off for 1 second. Okay. So that's a block based programming we can say. So यहाँ पे आप देखें कि अगर मैं इसको स्टॉप करता हूँ, एक्चुअली मेरा यहाँ पे जस्ट अ सेकंड स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पे हमारा दूसरा प्रोग्रामिंग भी मिनट, मैं आपको ओनली वन प्रोग्राम करके दिखाता हूँ. एक सेकंड, इसको हम डिलीट कर देते हैं. Yes. So can you see here? I'll explain only the one part. I just taken the only pin LED pin number 10, and what I did over here, I just set, मैंने यहाँ पे सेट किया कि पिन नंबर 10 को हमें हाई करना है, मतलब ऑन करना है फॉर कितने सेकंड के लिए? 1 सेकंड के लिए. एंड देन आई वांट कि हमारा जो पिन नंबर 10 है वो ऑफ हो जाए, मतलब लो हो जाए फॉर 1 सेकंड. Okay, and if I talks about this programming wala part here, can you see here void setup? Void setup means I have used pin number 10 as an output device, means for LED. हमने LED के लिए use किया है as an output device. And then what I want कि जो मेरा pin number 10 है वो high हो, मतलब वो on हो जाए for 1000 millisecond. 1000 millisecond means 1 second. And the same way I used pin number 10 as a low, मतलब off for 1000 millisecond, मतलब 1 second. So that's why हमारा ये जो कोडिंग पार्ट है, और वी कैन से द ब्लॉक बेस्ड पार्ट, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन यू कि आपको किस में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, आप कौन सा आपको अच्छा लगता है, आप उसके हिसाब से यूज कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो व्हेन आई क्लिक ऑन द स्टार्ट सिमुलेटर, अगर मैं इसको रन करना चाहता हूँ, आई वांट टू मेक आई वांट टू टेस्ट हाउ इट इज वर्किंग, सो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई विल क्लिक ऑन द स्टार्ट सिमुलेटर एंड देन यू कैन चेक द आउटपुट ओवर हियर. See, your LED is on and off after delay of 1 second. एक सेकंड के बाद हमारा LED on and off हो रहा है, बाय ना. तो in the same way you can use these coding blocks. Like if you want to use output blocks, like आपको LED या motor on करना है, तो you can choose any block from here. And then if you want to control something, you want to put a loop or something, आप इन blocks का use कर सकते हैं. And then if you want to do some mathematical functions and all, तो आपके पास यहाँ पे बहुत सारे options हैं. You can add, subtract. If you want to program a device that is an input device, so you can use these kind of blocks over here. Okay, so this is how it works. और बहुत ही easy है. It's not a typical, ज़्यादा typical नहीं है. You can do any kind of coding. Even अगर आप कोई ultrasonic sensor use करना चाहते हैं, आप ultrasonic sensor connect करके यहाँ से programming कर सकते हैं. So so students, if you think that you are not able to understand the coding part, so what I recommend, go with the block-based programming. This is the block-based coding. Go with the block-based programming, and then gradually जब आप इसको करेंगे, धीरे धीरे आपको जब logics बनाना समझ में आएगा, you will understand how to create logics, how to create loops, है ना, how to use conditions. Then you can switch to the block plus text. Okay, so I'll recommend, if you are a new student, if you are a new in the ATL, आपको भी programming के बारे में नहीं पता, then go for the block based coding, because it's a first step for the programmer, जहाँ पे हम logics के बारे में सीखते हैं, how to make programs. All right, so this is a simple. If I say okay, I'll delete this one. मैं traffic light नहीं बनाता. I just want to make an LED on and off. So what I have done here, I just used pin number 10. Pin number 10 is this one. This is the pin number 10. So I used pin number 10 as a high. High means on. We have two options, high or low. आप क्या करना चाहते हैं? आप इसको on करना चाहते हैं, select high. आप इसको off करना चाहते हैं, select low. Okay, and then कितने देर के लिए on करना चाहते हैं? For how much time you want to make it on and off? 1 second. So I have used this block. Wait for 1 second. Even you can change. Wait for 2 seconds. So it depends on you कि आप कितना देर उसको on and off करना चाहते हैं. And then I have made it high, and after 2 seconds I want कि मेरा LED off हो जाए. I want my LED should turn off. So I have used this block. Set pin number 10 to low. Low means off. And for how much time I want to make it low? कितना देर के लिए off करना है? 1 second के लिए. So एक simple सा एक छोटा सा program हमने design किया है. Now if you want to check the output also, आप यहाँ पे उसका output भी check कर सकते हैं. So I'll just a second. हाँ, so उसका आउटपुट चेक करने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? Click on the start simulator, and now you can see here the LED is on and off, goes on and off after a delay of 2 and 1. It turns 2 seconds on and then it offs for 1 second. Yes, I hope now it's clear to the students, those who are new to the programming. Yes. Anything else?
Yes. No, there are no questions as of now. Students, if you have any questions, you can share. I will definitely answer. Sir is here to answer your questions. So if you have any, please put them in the chat box. I'll read out. Neeraj, we can go ahead with the IoT section. I don't see much, any questions here now.
Right. So students, So students, in the same way as you have heard about microcontroller, there's a one more thing, we call it Internet of Things. So what is Internet of Things? Means all the device हमारे घर पे, हम जैसे एग्जांपल अपने टीवी पे देखा होगा कि you are outside, आप कहीं बाहर मार्केट में है, बाजार में है ना, एंड देन यू हैव एक्सेस. आपके मोबाइल में एक ऐसा सिस्टम होता है जिसपे आप एप्लीकेशन पे क्लिक करते हैं और अपने घर का लाइट्स ऑन ऑफ, फ्रिज, एसी को आप कंट्रोल कर पाते हैं. तो वो कैसे कंट्रोल कर पाते हैं? जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ इंटरनेट. तो हमारे इंटरनेट से हमारा पूरा डिवाइस कनेक्टेड है. अगर मैं घर पे हूं एंड आई वांट टू चेक कि मेरे ऑफिस में क्या हो रहा है, मेरे ऑफिस में कलीग्स क्या कर रहे हैं, सो देयर इज अ कैमरा. और कैमरा क्या करता है? हाउ कैमरा सेंड्स द ऑल द रिकॉर्डिंग्स, ऑल द डेटा ओवर द इंटरनेट, एंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ इंटरनेट आई कैन चेक द लाइव व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन. हमारे ऑफिस में क्या हो रहा है, हमारे घर पे क्या हो रहा है, मैं अपने मोबाइल फोन पे चेक कर सकता हूँ. सो दैट इज ऑल ड्यू टू द इंटरनेट. सो इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स मीन्स ये हमारा एक एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी है जो हमारे इंडिया में, या जैसे बोलते हैं 5G के ऊपर वर्क हम कर रहे हैं. विद द हेल्प ऑफ 5G नेटवर्क हम IoT पे और ज्यादा एडवांसमेंट करते जा रहे हैं. सो यू कैन सी ऑन द पिक्चर, आपको पिक्चर में दिख रहा होगा कि जैसे हमारा आप ओला बुक करते हो, कभी आपने देखा आप ओला बुक करते हो तो ओला को लाइव लोकेशन बताता है कि वो अभी एग्जैक्टली कहाँ पर है, कितना देर में आपके पास आएगा। तो दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ इंटरनेट। तो सारा डिवाइस हर कुछ हमारे इंटरनेट पे कनेक्टेड है। इवन एक वॉशिंग मशीन जो हमारे घर पे है, आप उसको भी अपने मोबाइल फोन से कनेक्ट करके आप कहीं भी उसे ऑपरेट करके ऑन ऑफ कर सकते हो। यू कैन चेक, है ना। सो दिस इज कॉल्ड इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स। नाउ इफ आई टॉक्स अबाउट इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स कि क्या है, कैसे ये स्टार्ट हुआ, हाउ इट गोज ऑन। सो इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स इज बेसिकली वी कॉल इट आईओटी। इट्स अ सिस्टम जहाँ पे हमारे सभी डिवाइस, इट्स अ मोबाइल फोन हो, हमारा इंडस्ट्री हो, हमारा मार्केट हो, स्कूल हो, either it's a transportation system, everything is connected with the internet. So how it works, basically it sends the data. So he's the father, Kevin Aston is the father of IoT, है ना। एंड हाउ इट वर्क्स, बेसिकली IoT काम कैसे करता है, हम कैसे सारा चीजें देख पाते हैं, कैसे हमारा डेटा हम एक्सेस कर पाते हैं। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट कलेक्ट्स द डेटा। मतलब हमारे जो सेंसर्स जिसकी अभी हम बात कर रहे थे, डिफरेंट डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ सेंसर्स आर देयर, वो सेंसर्स कलेक्ट्स ऑल द डेटा, ना। एंड देन डिवाइस एंड सेंसर्स आर कलेक्टिंग डेटा एवरीवेयर। जहां भी आपने अपना डिवाइस सेंसर्स कनेक्ट किया है वहां से वो डेटा कलेक्ट करेगा, एंड देन इट सेंड्स द डेटा टू द नेटवर्क। डाटा जो हमारा सेंसर है वो जो डेटा को लेगा, मतलब वो सेंस करेगा और फिर वो सब कुछ सेंड कर देगा इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सिग्नल्स ओवर द नेटवर्क। जैसे हम मोबाइल फोन पे बात करते हैं, हम कॉलिंग करते हैं, तो हमारा जो वॉइस है, हमारा जो आवाज है, वो नेटवर्क के थ्रू जाता है दूसरे पर्सन के पास। तो वैसे ही हमारा जो सेंसर है, द सेंसर टेक्स द डेटा एंड सेंड्स ओवर द नेटवर्क एंड देन एनालाइज। सो आफ्टर दैट जो भी डेटा आपके पास में आया है उसको हम उसको जो हमारा इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, जो हमारे डिवाइसेस हैं, जो हमारे हार्डवेयर सिस्टम है, उसको एनालाइज करते हैं कि जो डेटा है वो करेक्ट है, कितना आया, ब्रेक तो नहीं हुआ, एग्जैक्टली सब कुछ सेम है जैसा भेजा गया था, तो वो सब कुछ चेक करते हैं। एंड देन अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट वो हमारा एज अ आउटपुट काम करता है, मतलब हम उसको अपने स्क्रीन पे या अपने डिवाइस पे देख पाते हैं। सो दिस इज हाउ IoT cycle works. It collect the data, then it transmit the data over the network, and then analyze the data basically, है ना। and then we can check the output, like कि जो उन्होंने भेजा है exactly what we get or not. And then here the IoT components. First, the sensors, as I already mentioned, the sensor is the first part that collects the data. Then through towers, through the SIMs connection, internet, they sends the data over the this towers, and then data processing मतलब complete सब कुछ check करना कि exactly जो भेजा है कुछ miss तो नहीं हुआ। and at then you can check कि यहाँ पे अगर मान लीजिए there's a temperature is of 4 degrees Celsius, so you can check in another country, you can check exactly जो यहाँ पे डेटा 5 degrees Celsius था, कितना डिग्री है, तो आप यहाँ पे चेक कर सकते हैं। दिस इज हाउ IoT वर्क। एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ IoT इज कि अगर आप इसको डिफरेंट डिफरेंट, यू आर स्टेइंग इन डिफरेंट डिफरेंट स्टेट्स और यू आर फ्रॉम डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कंट्रीज, यू कैन चेक द एग्जैक्टली द डेटा दैट इज गोइंग ऑन। वहां पे जो हो रहा है आप उसको वैसा का वैसा देख सकते हैं फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ लोकेशन। ऑल राइट। So benefits क्या है? What are the benefits of this IoT? First is better and fast information. You will get a better information. Accuracy is much higher, and the information is very much faster because of internet. Second, you can use in your education also. It improves the education system if you are using IoT. If you are based on IoT, then the quality of life. It improves the quality of life. सबसे पहले क्या होता था कि हमें अगर कहीं का डेटा चाहिए, if suppose there's a patient in the hospital, so definitely the doctor will have to visit again and again to check the BP or to check the sugar. But with the help of IoT, the doctor को बार बार विजिट नहीं करना होता, सारा का सारा डेटा उनके मोबाइल फोन पे, उनके लैपटॉप या उनके कंप्यूटर पे आ जाता है। देन प्रोफिशिएंसी एंड देन हायर प्रोडक्शन वॉल्यूम। आपकी प्रोफिशिएंसी लेवल इंक्रीज होती है, प्लस में जो प्रोडक्शन लेवल है, चाहे वो किसी कंपनी का है या वो किसी इंडिविजुअल पर्सन का है, वो बहुत ज्यादा हाई इंक्रीज होता जा रहा है, जस्ट बिकॉज इट सेव्स आवर टाइम। ओके, सो दीज आर द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ IoT। इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स के क्या क्या एप्लीकेशन है? हम इसको हॉस्पिटल में यूज कर सकते हैं। यू कैन यूज इन द हॉस्पिटल फॉर इमरजेंसी सिस्टम, और वेयर यू वांट टू चेक द हेल्थ ऑफ, यू वांट टू मॉनिटर द हेल्थ सिस्टम ऑफ पेशेंट, आप इसको भी चेक कर सकते हैं। एंड इन होम ऑल्सो, आप इसे घर पे भी यूज कर सकते हैं। लेट सपोज आप अपने घर पे हैं, यू वांट टू टर्न ऑन द temperature, you want to change the temperature of your AC, you want to change the temperature of your refrigerator, or if you want to control the washing machine, तो आप इसको मोबाइल फोन से ही सब कुछ ऑपरेट कर सकते हैं, just because of IoT. सो बेसिकली इन द वेरेबल आपने देखा होगा जो कोई भी डिवाइस स्मार्ट डिवाइस यूज करते हो, हार्ट मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम यूज करते हैं, या फिर अगर आप रनिंग करते हो तो आपकी जो भी स्टेप्स है वो सब काउंट होकर ऑटोमेटिकली आपके सिस्टम पे सेव हो जाते हैं, दैट बिकॉज ऑफ आईओटी. सो दीज आर सम आईओटी एप्लीकेशंस जो हमारे डे टू डे लाइफ में हमारे पास अवेलेबल हैं, और अभी भी मार्केट में बहुत सारे ऐसे अच्छे अच्छे गैजेट्स आ रहे हैं जो हम सब कुछ आईओटी से कनेक्टेड है. ओके. ना इफ there's a like suppose there's a band जो हमारे डॉग्स के लिए आता है, आपने उस डॉग को अपना बैंड पहना दिया है और वो इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड है, तो अगर आपका डॉग कहीं पे मिस भी हो जाता है तो आप उसको लोकेशन पे ट्रैक कर सकते हैं कि वो कहाँ पे है राइट नाउ. सो दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ आईओटी. Now, also we use IoT in the traffic paths, traffic system also. It makes the traffic smarter. Why so? वो क्या करता है, वो देखता है कि किस लेन पे सबसे ज्यादा ट्रैफिक है, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट हमारा सिग्नल उसके हिसाब से चेंज होता है. तो यहाँ पे हम टाइमिंग सेट नहीं करते, यहाँ पे हमारे जो सेंसर्स हैं वो देखते हैं कि किस लेन पे ज्यादा ट्रैफिक है, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू द ट्रैफिक है ना, कहाँ पे ज्यादा है, द ट्रैफिक लाइट्स गोज ऑन एंड ऑफ ना. So this is how you can use and we can save our that accident also. यहाँ पे हम एक्सीडेंट केसेस बहुत कम कर सकते हैं. साइड बाय साइड इंटेलिजेंस जो हमारा ट्रैफिक सिस्टम है वो ऑटोमेटिक, जैसे आईओटी में क्या है कि आज के टाइम पे आपको स्मार्ट डिवाइस इतना हो गया कि आपको खुद से पता लग जाएगा कि कौन सा देयर इज अ कैफे इन दिस पार्ट, कहाँ पे पेट्रोल पंप है ना. तो ये सब चीजें भी हम आईओटी के हेल्प से हम कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज ऑल अबाउट नेविगेशन ऑल्सो. वी यूज इन नेविगेशन कि आपको कार में जब आपने देखा सुना होगा देयर इज अ ड्राइवरलेस कार. सो ड्राइवरलेस कार हाउ इट वर्क्स, बेसिकली इट नेविगेट्स कि उसको खुद से ही अब पता होता है कहाँ पे जाना है. ऑल द गूगल मैप, ऑल द मैप्स आर इंस्टॉल्ड इनसाइड इट. तो वो खुद से ही प्रिडिक्ट करता है कि उसको किस जगह पे जाना है, कितना टाइम लगेगा, कैलकुलेट करना, तो सब कुछ वहां पे ऑटोमेटिक हो रहा है. All right. So here there are some smart technologies like RFID sensors. Are these are some kind of technologies जो हम IoT में use करते हैं. So how these technologies work? It automatically detects, it automatically records the data. They like RFID. कोई person है जो बार बार अपने किसी रूम के अंदर enter कर रहा है, बाहर जा रहा है. So RFID check the data कि उसने कितनी बार enter किया, और RFID क्या करता है, उस data को send कर देता है over the internet. So with the help of internet, I can monitor कि उस person ने कितनी बार in किया, कितनी बार out किया. So same way, we have some sensors, we have some smart tech devices or nanotech devices, जिसकी help से we can make our IoT system more better. Now, different IoT platforms. These are the IoT platforms. Basically, these are the service providers जो क्या करते हैं, हमारा डेटा को fetch करते हैं और यूजर तक लेके जाते हैं. Like Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud IoT platform, Microsoft Azure IoT suite. So these are the online, we can say online platforms, or we can say it's a medium जो हमारे डेटा को fetch करने के बाद हमारे पास लेके आते हैं, मतलब with the help of internet. So ना, so there are a lot of service providers, and some of them are free for the students also. If you are a student, if you want to learn about IoT, आप खुद भी करना चाहते हैं तो आप AWS या फिर Google Cloud को use कर सकते हैं. Now, future scope. What is the future scope of IoT? So basically, now you can use IoT in artificial intelligence, in machine learning. We are using this kind of technologies है ना. और आने वाले टाइम पे बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जहाँ पे हम IoT का fully fledged यूज करने वाले हैं. Not only this, like suppose there's a farmer जिसके पास ना जहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं, if the farmer is at their home and they want to check कि हमारे जो soil है उसका moisture कैसा है. So with the help of IoT, वो अपने घर बैठे बैठे अपना मॉइस्चर लेवल एंड ऑल सब कुछ चेक कर सकता है. व्हेन टू टर्न द मोटर ऑन एंड ऑफ, मोटर को कब ऑन ऑफ करना है, कब कब हमें मतलब सॉइल का मॉइस्चर कितना लेवल है, तो सब कुछ वो घर बैठे बैठे मॉनिटर कर सकता है. तो दैट्स द मेन आई थिंक बूम ऑफ IoT. नाउ if I talks about IoT, here's the roadmap. Let's from this introduction, then there's an IoT structure architecture. Like उसको हम जब डिवाइस को जब बनाते हैं तो पूरे आर्किटेक्चर डिजाइन करते हैं, and then you can use Arduino as a platform for IoT also. आप Arduino को भी use कर सकते हो to make a IoT project. Then you can connect IoT you can connect sensors with Arduino, or even you can use Raspberry Pi, you can use Node MCU. Okay, and there are a lot of electronics components that you can use with the IoT. And then IoT communication programming. So there is a tool जिसके बारे में अभी आपको मैं दिखा रहा था, like Amazon, AWS, Google Cloud platform. So these are some kind of platforms जिसको आप use करके अपने कम्युनिकेशन चैनल को आप कम्युनिकेशन चैनल बना सकते हैं between the user and between the sender. जो सेंडर है और जो रिसीवर है उसके बीच का चैनल आप क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। एंड देन एनालिटिक्स, एनालिटिक्स मींस जितना भी डेटा आया क्या वो एक्यूरेट आया, कुछ मिस तो नहीं हुआ, डेटा एकदम एक्यूरेट है जो आपने भेजा है, तो वो सब एनालिटिक्स के अंदर आ जाता है। All right, so this is how you will get, you can prepare for your resume or your job also. If you are interested, आपको IoT के सेक्टर में ज्यादा जाना, तो आप इस तरह से अपना प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं। और आप अपना IoT से रिलेटेड बहुत सारे फील्ड्स हैं आज के टाइम पे। हर मेडिकल लाइन, कोई सी भी लाइन में हम बात करते हैं, everywhere you can see all are around with IoTs. All right, so yes, so any student want to ask any question related to IoT, you can ask here, because it's a new technology, it's upcoming technology with respect to Arduino, because Arduino is a kind of microcontroller, but with the help of Raspberry Pi, you can use it as a microprocessor and you can connect any device. I'll show you some more example also. Yes, but before that, if anyone want to ask any question related to IoT, yeah, someone asked, sir, tell me please application of Arduino. So application of Arduino is, have you heard smart dustbin, smart blind stick? So these are some kind of application that students are using at their project level. Yes, yes. Any other question you want to ask? You can use chat box also if you want to. You can use your chat box also if you want to ask any question, doubts related to IoT. And there are a lot of stuffs on the Google. Google पे आपको बहुत सारी चीजें मिलेंगी related to IoT. IoT is not like a one platform. It's a huge, it's a big platform जहाँ पे हमारा ओवरऑल पूरा का पूरा आज के टाइम पे जितना भी हमारा सिस्टम है, जैसा हेल्थ सिस्टम, इट्स अ मेडिकल सिस्टम, ऑल आर कनेक्टेड विद इंटरनेट. सो इंटरनेट की हेल्प से आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. जैसे राइट नाउ आई एम हियर एंड यू आर एट योर प्लेस, but with the help of internet, I'm showing you my screen. I'm just explaining you about the internet, IoT topics. Yes. Anything else, students, you want to ask? Yes, I guess no question.
Yes, there are no
And
questions,
yeah, over.
Neeraj. There are no questions, Neeraj. I guess we can just
Yes, yes.
share the assignment of the day, so that tomorrow morning we'll take up both the
Yes.
assignment responses from students, what all they have done. So taking the screen control, Neeraj, from you, just to display
Yes, yes.
the marathon entries. How do we do that?
Sure. Yes, yes, yes. Just a second.
Yeah,
Are you sharing or I'll share?
yeah, I'll share. I'm sharing.
Okay, okay, okay.
So students, as you all know, every year Atal Innovation Mission organizes ATL Marathon. So even yesterday we discussed about it. So today also we'll see few more details about it and the changes that they have made with respect to the timelines or the deadline. So students, every year Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog organizes an innovation challenge, or I can say a marathon. Since 2017, every year they've been organizing this marathon. And this year marathon they have organized in celebrating the 75th year of independence. So here we have different themes given to us, and we can come up with different ideas, problem statements across this, and try to solve these problems. So for this year there are 4 themes: healthcare and nutrition, education, energy and transportation, social inclusion. So these are the 4 themes that they've given. And as a part of our assignment yesterday, we have asked you all to explore the education theme and figure out if there are any challenges or problems that you can identify, and you can address them, you can come up with solutions. So going forward, today's theme for you to explore is energy and transportation. So మీ అందరూ ఈరోజు ఎనర్జీ అండ్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ఈ థీమ్ కింద ఉన్న problems ni identify cheyandi, sit with your group of friends, try to understand what are the challenges that you have. Now once you find out them, try to brainstorm, ideate, and come up with solutions as well. So tomorrow we'll be discussing about energy and transportation theme in detail. Students, there is a deadline extension, students. So deadline for submission of marathon now is April 10th. Earlier it was March 6th. Now they have extended. So all your submissions, all your projects can be submitted till 10th of April. And all the ATL schools are requested to submit maximum of the entries from your school, and there are a lot of exciting prizes and opportunities awaiting for you all. So students, today there are two assignments for you all. One is check your mobile phone, whichever brand, whichever model you're using. Try to find out how many different types of sensors are there in your mobile phone. What are the different sensors that you're using in your mobile phone is your first assignment. And the second assignment is try to explore energy and transportation theme. And two problem statements are already given. One is how can we improve the rider or the driver vehicles safety. So either a rider or a driver safety, how can we improve that is a problem. So you need to think about it, in what way I can come up with, I can come up with a driver shield, which can, which can safeguard a driver when it comes to the calamities, or I can say the accident prone areas, what they can do in a difficult situation, how that shield can work. It can be a one, possible solution that you can think of. So sit with your students, sit with your friends, and, try to reach out to your ATL in charges or your LLF mentors. They'll definitely help you out in brainstorming ideas. The second problem statement that is given by Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog is the carbon footprint. How can we reduce this carbon footprint is the question. Now you need to think about different ways how we can bring down this carbon footprint. So these are the two problem statements that they have. You need to explore and understand about these two problems and try to come up with solutions. So students, today two assignments we've given. One is mobile phone sensors. The second one is you need to check and explore energy and transportation theme. On the last day of our boot camp, we will submit one idea, whichever idea students share. One idea I'll submit here, and I'll be showing you how to submit your projects in marathon. So there are questions. There is a question in the chat box. How can we see after submission of application form? So ma'am, once you submit your application form in marathon, you will get application ID as a proof. So that ID you have to keep it safe. That will help us in identifying what idea we have submitted. So majorly that is one point that we can keep in mind. So that is one way you can have. So once you get application ID, it will show. The second way is once you log on to your mygov.in account, it will show you number of projects submitted. That way also it will help you. So two ways you can check how can you verify and you can get the confirmation of application form. One is the application ID. Second one is once you submit and you go into your log into your account, you'll see the project submission list there. So these are the two ways where you can check what type of projects are submitted and how many projects are submitted. And students, each one of you can submit as many projects as you want. There's no compulsion that, one child can submit only one project, or there's no hard and fast rule there. So as many questions as you have, as many problem statements you identify and you innovate and you get solutions to them, you can submit all of them. So students, with this, we have come to an end of the second day of our boot camp. And if you have any questions, I'll be taking a pause for a minute. You can type your questions in the chat box. And if you're joining through a classroom, please put your questions forward to your ATL in charges. They can ask us and definitely we'll try to answer them. Students, I'm taking a pause here. You all can see if you have any questions, you can either it is with respect to ATL marathon or the sensors, controllers, or IoT that we've learned today. Anything, if you are stuck at anywhere, if you did not understand, you need more clarity, please ask. Okay, there's a question by Ravula. Ma'am, how can we do the project works? Students, once you identify a problem statement, once you know that this is a problem statement and that you want to work on this project, then team from Learning Links Foundation, our team will reach out to your ATL in charges. And if you need any support, we will be coming forward to help your students. Once let's ideate and keep our ideas ready, then the next phase will be working with them. So now we are taking up different sessions. So in your idea, which sensor will match, how to connect the sensor or how to implement it into a functional prototype, all this can be a part of our project development phase, students. Okay. So considering that there are no more questions that we have, students, so I am taking an off for the day, and I would definitely request you all to please explore and try to find out the different problems in your community, in your surroundings, so that you can solve them, you can address them. And once we get shortlisted in the top entries of marathon, there are many more opportunities which are awaiting for us. So wishing you all the best, students. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we shall connect with you tomorrow, and we'll have a lot of different concepts to learn tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day.